cloud. Okay. All right, we're making progress. 2 more minutes. Two more minutes. All right, I think what everybody needs to do is get up this record number 9 first and foremost. Get out your record number 9. Okay, record number 9. Next, get out your version of the Rob 2 for record number 9. Everyone doing that? Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Now I am going to get out all of your Rob 2s for record number 9, which, let's see. Some of you didn't have to do, but still should have for the sheer joy of it. For the sheer pleasure that comes with doing Rob 2. Okay. For those of you that just joined, please get out record number 9 and get out your rendition of Rob 2 for record number. For tomorrow. Um, Everybody, oh, how do I make it so other people can share their screens? Let me see. Because I want you guys to share your screens at some point and show what your Rob 2s look like. Um, Allow. Well, I guess if I make you a host, then you can do whatever you want and then make me a host back. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. For now, we're just getting out record 9 and our Rob 2 of record 9. Okay. Let's see who's missing. Can we start? Anybody missing? If you guys hear weird noises in the background, those are my other children. I have many. I feel like I have a lot of kids. Um, Let me check to see if anybody's missing so we can. You guys know I'm on a call, right? I'm not sitting out here talking to myself. I haven't gotten to that point. This is what it's like to be a mom and a doctor, in case like any of you guys were wondering what it sounds like. All right, so 1, 2. Oh, good. It's in Critica. Where's Critica? Someone call her immediately. We need her. And Laksha is missing too. Do you? Oh, wait. You guys aren't allowed. Oh, you guys aren't allowed to text each other because of the big dramatic text fiasco of last year. So I guess you guys. I don't know. I guess I'll have to find Laksha and Critica. Those are the only two that's missing. Does anybody know where they are offhand? Did they mention on your last meeting like they were just not gonna come, or what's the deal?
I mean, they didn't say anything specifically, so I don't know.
Okay, well, I emailed them, but I guess if they're not on Zoom, they're probably not checking their email either. Oh dear. Oh, I have their phone number somewhere. I'm talking to research interns. You can say hi. You can say, I love you. We are waiting for you. Okay. So Kritika and Laksha were in your meeting for preparing for this meeting, and they didn't mention that they were gonna not come. Did they attend the meeting to prepare for this meeting?
Yes, I believe.
So perhaps they were abducted by aliens. Is that the going hypothesis? So it's up to you guys. How long do you want to sit and wait? I'm gonna go say goodbye to my other kids, and you guys decide how long you want to wait. And if you do happen to have either of their phone numbers, I give you permission to call them and tell them to wake up so that we can get going with this, because I don't want to be doing this for the rest of my life. Okay, I'm saying goodbye to you guys right now. Give me hugs and kisses. Come on. I love you. Have a nice day. I love you. Have a nice day. That's right. Did we decide how long we're gonna wait?
Maybe like 2 more minutes.
2 more minutes. Okay. Hey, Everett, get out of that stroller. You're gonna stop, please. You're gonna hurt your head. Come on, get your shoes on. Get your shoes on. Hmm.
Dr. Waggel, I had a question.
Sure.
So in the assignment for like the bias assessments, it said specifically for me not to do record one because I was doing Robin's Eye. So the guy was focusing on Robin's Eye all this time. So should I be in this meeting to like actually listen to you guys talk about the
Oh,
results and stuff?
everybody. So what happens is, Abigail, how many more hours estimate of Rob's 2 do you believe is left for this research?
Hundreds of hours.
Hundreds of hours. So we're yes. So everybody Can you hold on? Are you guys gonna go to school or what is happening here? Again, sneak peek into what it's like to be a mom and a doctor. Hmm. Now, if I guess this just okay. Hi, Ajni, I can see you. That's nice. It's nice to be able to see you. So oh my gosh, to answer your question, there is hundreds of hours of work left on Rob 2. So yeah, everybody's gonna have to learn how to do it, or else you'll just be sitting here for hundreds of hours waiting for Abigail to finish. And I don't think that that's really fair. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I understand that. But
That
like
would be so mean to her if we were like, all right, we all finished ours. Good luck with the hundreds of hours left you have with yours.
I know, but actually my question is more like since I believe you guys are gonna be talking about record nine like the today, I
Mhm.
didn't finish my record nine. So like
No, that's okay. You're
okay.
gonna learn how to do it.
Okay.
So, can we get started? I'm sad that where's Kritika and Laksha? I feel like when they join, if they join, I'm gonna have to repeat everything, and that's gonna make me cry. Let me call.
I had Laksha's number, so I called her, but I believe her phone is turned off or something.
Man, does anybody have Kritika's phone number? Yeah, her phone is turned on. Hi, Alexa, it's Dr. Waggle. It is 8:10 a.m. on the 24th. We're all just hanging out on the Zoom call, hoping and praying and wishing. Okay, that you will join. So I will give you 2 more minutes, because we gotta get started. Bye. That was a song. It was an old-timey oldie song. You guys, I promise you that my jokes are hilarious, but you have to get them for them to be hilarious. So, let's see. Let's just get started. I don't know. Okay, so everybody has record nine, this bad boy right here. I like to print mine because I waste rainforests. So everybody has that in front of them, yes?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And then everybody also, if you did it, your copy of Rob 2.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. So before I start telling you the answers, I want you to all, you can like do private chat on Zoom, right? You know how to do that. You hit like chat and then instead of to the whole group, I want you to private message me what you think the overall bias rating is going to be. Okay. So even if you didn't do Rob 2, like Ahmad didn't do it, which is fine because you were working on Robin's Eye, which admittedly I was also supposed to do, but I got so consumed with Rob 2. And today was a Rob 2 theme day. But even if you didn't do Rob 2 and you just read the article, you just read it, what do you think the overall bias? Now, okay, someone's got to take notes. Who's taking notes? Not everybody shout out at once. Gosh, I know you all want to take notes, but please take turns.
I can take notes.
That's great. Jordan, taking one for the team. Okay, take notes. Um, so even if you did not do Rob 2, merely just reading the article, what do you think is the overall bias rating? Is anybody private messaging me? Because I'm not getting them. Okay. All right. I'm starting to get some private messages in. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Very good. I think that was 1, 2, 3. Okay. Okay. Oh, still coming in. Still coming in. All right. I'm just gonna trust that everybody answered because I need to move on. All right. I I'm not gonna tell you the answer yet. We're gonna go over what we did. Um Now, when when we're talking about like the quality of research in general, there's the risk of bias assessment and then just like, is this article trash or not? It's like when I watch YouTubers and they rank like Disney restaurants. Like obviously they're just comparing them among like other Disney or theme park restaurants. They're not comparing them to a dive bar or like McDonald's, right? So obviously the the research was good enough to get published in the journal Cellular and Molecular Biology. Um, so we're not comparing our research to like a junior high school project or some garbage on BuzzFeed, right? So that being said, overall, the I guess in the grand scheme of all studies, published or not published, it's okay. But I want you to private message me what you think about not Rob 2, not risk of bias, just your overall opinion of this study, not compared to a junior high science class or some lady on Reddit, but like, and oh no, no, don't be sad. Um, as far as academic papers go, tell me if it's good, bad, or medium. So private message me. Again, this is different than what you just answered, which is, do you think there's a risk of bias? This is just your overall opinion. Like it was a great high quality study, or this study, I'm surprised it even got published, or like it's mid. So private message me now what you think. Not the risk of bias, just like this, your opinion of the study as a whole. No, that's not fuzz. Oh, it's not fuzz. Okay. 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 And then the more studies you read, obviously, the more points of comparison you will have. If you've only ever read 5 studies in your whole life, then obviously you might not be really good at gauging how good it is or not. Okay. And so I'm gonna pick someone at random. Avni, did you do a Rob 2 for record 9?
Yeah, I did.
Are you able to share your screen and show us your Rob 2? You may not be able to because I don't know how
I'll
to.
try. Yeah, I think I can.
Now remember, everybody's supposed to have their Rob 2s ready to go because I am going to call on you guys to share them. Wow, you look like you're hard at work. Shh, baby. All right. While you're finding your Rob 2, I guess I'm going to make a bottle. Is that what you want? Are you thirsty? Again, guys, sneak peek into life as being a mom and a doctor. Thrilling stuff. Thrilling. Yikes. Are we sharing it yet? What's happening?
I sent a request.
No, I'm not at my computer because I'm too busy momming. All right. So,
I sent a request to share.
okay, I'm going to click it just as soon as I'm. Ah, yes. Okay, allow. All right, very good. All right. Multiple presenters can share. Great. All right, let's see. Let's see your Rob 2 for record 9. Okay. So this is what I saw from a lot of people, which I guess is okay, but let me show you what the tool looks like and you tell me what is going on there. Okay. You'll have to just excuse the crying noises. This is life for me. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Like, this is not the actual tool. Do you know what I mean by this?
Yeah, because there's an Excel tool, correct? Like there's an Excel tool that has that, but I was trying to watch like videos on how to use it. But
There is an Excel tool. Does everybody share their screen and share what they have, if possible? Because I think it should be possible now.
I'm going from my phone, so I'm just gonna show my computer. Oop. Ah, so like as best I can.
Yeah, so so there's an Excel tool, but I know Abigail and Vibha have what I'm talking about. Do one of you guys want to show the thing that I'm talking about?
Yeah, I'm currently trying to share my screen.
Okay, we'll patiently wait. All right, well, I'll share mine because I know what I'm talking about here. You think with COVID being like 1,000 years ago, everybody would be such an expert at Zoom? I think it's because Zoom changes everything so often. The second that you think you know how to do this stuff, then it's like, ha, we've changed it. Okay, can you guys see my Rob tool?
Yes, now we can see.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. So if you would have seen in one of the assignments that was like some of you only turned in a couple pages, Vibha, your Rob 2 assessment for record 9 was like what, 130 pages long, right?
Yeah, it was like 145 something.
Okay, 145. So do you see how Vibha did 145 pages, but Avni yours is obviously not 145 pages long. And I'm not blaming you because you were on other projects. Look, the guys, this isn't like who did better or who did worse. This is like we're all together as a team, right? So if I critique you, it's not because I'm like, you suck. It's because like everybody needs to do different things. Okay. So I'm not saying that Avni was like, whoa, terrible job. But she was doing other stuff, right? Okay. So let's all put our egos aside for a second. Um, Avni, does this thing that I'm scrolling, is this something that you utilize in order to make that document that you were just sharing?
Yeah, so the document, the template, I got from Abigail because she shared it with Critica and me. So that's the template I used, but then I was also going through this to decide whether I should say yes, no, or like whatever.
Okay, do you have your template the thing I'm scrolling through right now? Do you have, surely you saved it in order to make the Excel?
Yeah.
Okay, can you, everybody get this template on your screen? so that I can check that you have done this. And if you didn't do it, it's probably because you were working on Robin's Eye, or the new Ottawa something. Okay. I'm not seeing very many screens being shared. In fact, I'm not seeing any screens being shared. Now, don't be shy. Why is no one sharing their screen?
I believe like Abikia is like I can see a screen.
Yeah.
For Abigail, I'm just seeing oh, I'm sharing my screen, but for Abigail, I'm just seeing the name Abigail. Let's see. Wait, Jourdain, I can see a keyboard. That's getting somewhere. Okay.
Oh, you can switch between tabs on top, and then that way you can see Abigail's screen as well.
Okay. Switch between tabs on top. Oh, okay. So yes. Thank you. See, Zoom be changing. All right. So you guys can see mine. You can see Abigail's. Do you see this box and the top? It says study details, and I put the like name of the study here. Abigail did a better job than me. She put the name of the study and the author and where it was coming from and all that. Right?
Yes.
Okay. But I am not seeing anybody else's. Is anybody else gonna share what they did for Rob 2? We need
Yeah,
to
sorry.
start doing.
I'm trying to pull it up. I'm sorry.
Okay, so I see Abigail's. Lydia, I don't see anything.
I don't have anything, because I didn't do Rob 2 for
You
record
were
one.
new Ottawaing or something, right?
Yeah.
We'll let it slide. But we will all unfortunately fortunately, because it's super fun, have to start doing Rob 2 because we're not just going to make Abigail do hundreds and hundreds of hours, right? We've decided that we're going to learn Rob 2. I mean, if you guys did the other ones, then you can do this one, okay?
I
Is
also
everybody
I also didn't do the Rob 2 for this one.
who is saying that?
Shrinika.
That's okay.
Can
But
you see my screen?
can you guys at least go get the tool out so you can fill it out as we go along?
Yes.
Yes.
Does everybody
Yeah.
surely you at least have a blank copy of the tool?
Yes.
Can you guys share your screen to show me that you at least have a blank copy of the tool?
Not at all. And then I saw on a thread where it's on I guess apparently she's out with attendance issues.
I hear talking, but I don't know if it's
So I told
meant for me.
no.
Sorry, can you see my screen?
I'm making a bottle for my baby, so I can't see anybody's
Oh,
screen.
sorry.
Can someone else see your screen? I'm not the only one participating. Other people can say if they can see your screen.
Yeah, we can see your screen.
Yeah.
Okay. Does everybody have a blank or complete Rob 2 tool out so that we can fill it out together, move through this? I'm still not seeing.
I'm trying to share my screen now.
Okay.
I'm also sharing my screen.
Yep, I see little notifications. People are starting to. Okay. Okay, so let me go through. Abigail's got it. Jourdain, you have like the Excel version, but do you have the little like where you fill in the boxes, kind of like what me and Abigail are looking at?
I didn't like fill that version out, but like I put like explanation and comments next to my bias assessment, so like I can pull up the other one as well.
Okay, I'm sure you probably did it right. It's just like
Mhm.
when I look, I can't tell what the question is or what the answer is. I just see like a column and it says your
Right.
name.
Because
Yeah,
when I was going through it, like I would look at the signaling questions and then like answer it here just to keep it more organized. But like I guess what we were supposed to do was just answer it all on like the like what's it called? The
template.
document that you guys, yeah, the
Yeah.
template that you guys
Yeah.
have.
So, I mean, you can do it the way that you did it. It's just
Mhm.
that when you share the screen, like I can't tell what the question is and I can't
Right.
tell what the answer is.
Okay, yeah.
Does
I feel like
everybody see what I'm saying? Like, so
yeah.
for Jordanes, am I saying your name right? Please correct.
Jordan. No, you're
Jordan.
good. Yeah.
Gosh, Jordan. Um, you could see that it's like why, and you can see like, but you can't tell what the questions are and the answers are. But if
Right.
you go to Abigail's or you go to mine, you can see the question and you can see the answer we put in the box.
Okay.
It's, you can do it whatever way you want. It's just the way that me and Abigail and Vibha, why are you sharing yours? Because I know you did it right.
Yeah, 1 second.
But
Okay.
like there's different ways to do it, but do it the way that me and Abigail and Vibha are doing it, just
Got it.
because it's easier to see. This is the question, this is the answer, this is the question, this is the answer. And then certain I like Excel because it's definitely easier. And there's even that Excel. There's like a bunch of different ways to do it, but let's just all try to do it the same way. Okay, so that's Jordan's. You did it, but you're going to bring up an empty template right now, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, very good. And then we have Gloria. Yes, that's right, Gloria. Very good. It looks like you did it. Is that correct? This doesn't look blank. This looks like you answered some of the stuff,
I just
right?
did like a little bit because like I was doing NOS before this, so I just started like studying ROB2.
That's fine. Okay, so Gloria, your document that you have up is good. Let's see. Oh my gosh. Then we have, yes, Ahmad, you have the right document up. It's blank, but that's okay because you were doing other stuff. But we're gonna be filling it in today, okay? And then we have Samiha. Yes, you have the correct thing up. It's blank, but that's fine. Let's see. Lydia, you have the correct thing up. It's blank, but that's fine. Shanika, it looks like yes, you have the correct thing up. Very good. Vibha doesn't. Oh, you do. I know. Look, Vibha, show everybody. Well, don't look at her answers because that's cheating, but show them how long yours is, just for record 9. And don't be discouraged by the fact that just one record is 145 pages.
Should I like scroll or like
Yeah, scroll, show them how long. Okay. Is anybody else's besides Abigail's also 145 pages? Okay. So remember, one of the things I said is if it's not 145 pages, then you didn't do it right. Okay. Our note taker, Jordan, this is going to be important. This is an important question. Vibha, can you please explain to the group why it is 145 pages and why that's actually not as bad as it seems?
It's because we're not assessing like the whole study, we're assessing like each outcome. So
Correct. And how many outcomes are there?
so for record 9, there's 18.
Okay. So the good thing about this is most of it is redundant, right? Like there's 18 outcomes, but it's not like you have to go and do the Rob tool 18 times because most of it is identical. Do you agree, Abigail and Vibha?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to say that one more time. I understand that the fact that the Rob 2 for just one record, record 9, is 145 pages seems outrageous. But that is because there's 18 outcomes to assess, but most of it is just copy and paste the same for all 18. It only starts differing. Well, I'll go through. In this particular example, for me, it didn't start getting different until domain 4, but it could be different depending on the study. But I suspect that most studies, if there's a whole bunch of outcomes, it's just going to be copy and paste like the same stuff over. So while there may be 145 pages, it's not like 145 pages of completely different stuff. Does everybody understand what I'm saying?
Yes, yeah, I noticed that while
Yeah.
doing it too.
Yes.
Okay, so please don't go into the closet and shut the door and scream because you're like 145 pages. It's just probably 145 pages of copy and paste, okay? All right. So that being said, this is something that I'd like to do like a short video about without a baby crying. Oh, you want your baba. I don't know. Can you guys even see me? Or can you just see my screen?
We can see you.
Okay.
Well, at least I can.
I'm multitasking. So what I want to point out is whenever people are getting information, whether it's from the government or an influencer or their friend or the news, these studies come up and then people just take one sentence from it and then whatever it says, that's the truth. But as you can see, it takes 145 pages and several hours to determine if that study is even telling the truth. Now, to be very clear, what is the definition of bias that I like and that I used several times? Bias is a deviation from
The truth.
the truth. So bias is a deviation from the truth. And so when people are like, here's a study and it says this, do you think most of them spent several hours and 145 pages going through to see if what the study said was anywhere near the truth?
Probably not.
Absolutely not. And so this is one of the things that irks me is that people don't do enough truth searching. And as you saw, our final project for the pre-med is like finding the truth because it's just trash information that gets circulated and repeated. And I feel like we live in a world where everybody just believes anything and anybody just makes stuff up. And so very few people actually take the time that's necessary to go through these studies and to see if what is being talked about in the study is a deviation from the truth or anywhere near the truth. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So another thing that Jordan is going to have to write in the notes that's very important is this is a technicality, but it's very important for everybody to understand. This is going to sound like such a trick question, but are we assessing bias?
No, we are assessing risk of bias.
Who said that? 1,000 bonus points.
Me, Lydia.
Lydia. Yeah, I have so many screens open, I can't tell who's talking. Lydia, you're exactly right. We're not, even though I have said several times bias assessment, assessing bias, blah, blah, blah. Technically, we are not assessing bias. We are assessing risk of bias. And I want, even if I say it incorrectly, I want everybody to know in their hearts that we are, in fact, not assessing bias. We are assessing risk of bias. Okay. Everybody unmute yourselves and say it on 3. 1. You're all still muted, so I'm waiting. Tranika, Vippa, come on. This is an interactive, okay. We're gonna say we're not assessing bias, we're assessing risk of bias on 3. 1, 2, 3.
We are
We're
not
not
assessing
assessing
risk of
bias.
bias.
We're
risk of
assessing
bias.
risk of
Risk
bias.
of bias.
Great. Okay, perfect. Okay, you may all go back to being muted. Now, that being said, we are the ultimate truth seekers here. Like I said, pretty much, even if you take a study and you write about it, most people don't go through and do a risk of bias assessment on it. They just take it at face value. And that's why when these politicians start making policy based on one random study and I look at it and I'm like, this study is so biased. It's because, first of all, most people don't even know how to assess it for risk of bias. But you guys all are now geniuses and you're truth seekers. And this will help you whenever you have interviews and in the future, you can explain to your future attendings and the people interviewing you for medical school that you are a truth seeker and you understand how to objectively look at literature and decide if it is towards the truth or a deviation from the truth. So you guys are all just that much smarter than the general population. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my Rob 2 now that, wait, I don't think everybody shared their screen. And I don't mean to be nitpicky, but I want to make sure everybody has their blank template. So if you go to Gloria's, she has it up. Jordan, Abigail, just oh baby. Everybody has the blank because we're gonna be filling it in if you haven't already, okay? Because we're not letting Abigail just have hundreds of hours of work because she got the short end of the stick and was assigned Rob 2, while other people got bias assessments that were only for like 16 studies. Okay, we're a team here. So does anybody not have it up? Man, I am so sad Kritika and Laksha aren't here because, well, I guess I'm recording this. They're gonna have to watch it. Anyway, everybody's ready to start filling in Rob 2, right?
Yes.
I
Yes.
I cannot see anybody's screens for some reason.
Uh, can you see mine?
No.
You can just see me feeding my baby.
Yes.
Well,
I
that's not
can't
going to
see
help you with
anyone's
this.
screens either.
Wait, you can't even see my screen?
No.
Heavens to Betsy. It says 2190822 underscore Rob underscore 2 at the really? My heart is breaking.
I think if you're sharing your screen, you won't be able to see like the actual Zoom meeting, like anyone else's screens except your own. I think that.
Okay, so if that's true, and Gloria seems to know more about Zoom than anyone, if that's true, now that I've confirmed that everybody has the correct template out to, because we're going to go along and fill it all out together, you may stop sharing your screens, okay? So that you can see mine. Although, Abigail, can you continue sharing yours? Because I know that I like yours. I like it. Oh, wait, I guess you want it. Never mind, Abigail. You need to be able to see mine because we're going to. Yes, everybody stop sharing. Okay, now that everybody's not sharing, can you see mine?
Yes. Yes, I can.
Fabulous. Okay, so at the top here, we have revised Cochrane. You can see my mouse too, right? You can see I'm highlighting.
Yeah.
Okay, now everybody has this. We're going to scroll down. So study details. I just put the title, but you should put all the details there. Okay, first, this tool that we're using automatically checks an X for individually randomized parallel group trials because the two underneath it use a completely different tool. And that was something that I needed you to specify in another assignment. We'll have to do cluster randomized parallel group trials and individually randomized crossovers at another date. Today, we're only focusing on individually randomized parallel group trials, okay? So everybody's should be X here. So is everybody's X here?
Yes.
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 Fabulous. Okay, so for the purposes of this assessment, and I'm actually, oh my gosh, it's so hard to do all this. Abigail and Vibha, can you just quickly email me your, oh my goodness, this is so stressful. Baby, please. Can you just quickly email me yours so that I can bring it up so that I can go back and forth between yours? Because I have so many windows open right now. It's just a lot.
Yes.
Like the same template.
Yeah, the same thing because I'm going to look at your answer, look at mine, and look at yours. And remember from, the document that was due today. Let me get that out too. So there was a document due today, and top of it says, here's link to your ROM 2, right? This is hard because like I can't click at the top because this like Zoom bar is in the way. Yikes. Okay, so there was the assignment for tomorrow's Rob 2 Zoom meeting, 20 minutes. Okay, and so it's 100% Rob 2 related. Actually, it's 98% Rob 2 related, 2% baby related. It's evaluated at the outcome level. There were 18 outcomes. The answer to last week's assignment is that not doing it independently would violate Prisma, but using AI would violate journal guidelines. And then there's the thing, technically we aren't assessing bias or assessing risk of bias. By the way, what I'm reading is from the document called for tomorrow's Rob 2 Zoom. It was the one that you all did for today. Okay, I say, I understand you are each submitting your Rob 2 for record 9 here, and I'm trusting you not to look at each other's. Okay, everybody needs to at least read record 9 by tomorrow. Okay, so that it's Prisma compliant, I said Abigail did it herself, which I know she did, and Viva did it herself, which I know she did. And so the rest of us talking about it is purely for educational purposes only and will not actually be used in the study because then that would be a Prisma violation. Do you guys get that? Like we can't just go in and start willy-nilly changing what was originally planned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So everyone besides Shanika, Laksha, Lydia, and Gloria should have done Rob 2. Anyway, so then I said Viv's Rob 2 for record 9 is 145 pages. So if yours is only 10, you need to go back and look at it again. And we explained that was because it's pretty much copy and paste for all 18 outcomes. So it's not as bad as you think. Abigail and Viva, can you please confirm? Yes. Okay. You did it on your own and then you did it together, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So whatever it is you guys came up with, that's what we're sticking with, and we're not changing it because then that would be a personal violation. Okay. And then I could not find for Avni, but that's okay. Jordan, blah blah blah. Okay. Now let me get into my email so that I can quickly just open up both Vibha's and Abigail's because they're the ultimate determinant of what the answers are, right? And honestly, like, I'm not saying to just do this crappily, but I will say that a lot of it is sort of like up to your discretion. And so it's not like there's really a exact right or exact wrong answer for a lot of this. Okay, so I have record 9. All right, here's what we're going to do while I change my child's diaper. Is those of you that did not do it, go through the first box and answer all the questions until you get to signaling question 1.1, okay? So the first box and the second box, answer those, and then stop when you get to signaling question 1.1, stop when you get to domain 1, okay? Okay, Dr. Waggel.
Okay, Dr. Waggel.
Yes, Dr. Wackle.
Okay, so hopefully you guys didn't just copy mine. Everybody did the questions until they got to domain one, right?
Yes, Dr. Waggel.
Okay, very good. All right, so we got the study design, it's the same for everybody, and then uh, the purpose of this assessment, the interventions being compared are defined as, what did you guys put for experimental?
The
Um,
low dose
Dose
aspirin.
aspirin.
Okay. Well, for some reason I put hypertension meds and then in parentheses labetalol and aspirin. So did I do it wrong? Oh, you know what? Okay, so if we're doing 18 of these, we got to pick. And another issue with this is that when they did the statistics, the chi-squared and the Fisher's test, is that they compared all three. They compared labetalol, aspirin, and placebo together, but we only care about aspirin versus placebo and aspirin versus labetalol. Do we care about labetalol versus placebo?
No.
No.
No, we do not. Okay, so we should really pick one. And I guess it's gonna go, it might actually be more than 18 ways because hmm, this is confusing. So, all right, so we'll just go with low dose aspirin and compare it. Do we have to do one for low dose aspirin compared to labetalol and low dose aspirin compared to drug free? It's just fine the way it is. So I think experimental, and you put in the med, and in our case, aspirin, because we don't care about labetalol versus placebo. Um, but we do care about low dose aspirin. So okay, we're gonna have to take a vote because to be honest, I'm not claiming to be a Rob 2 expert. So Vibha has for experimental low dose aspirin and for comparator labetalol and drug free. And then if we go
For
to
the comparator, me and Abigail met yesterday and we decided she explained that like we're not supposed to have just the libido group for the comparator. It's the placebo one. But I just didn't change it for mine. But we put it for our friends.
okay. And to be honest, what we're really looking at is the effects of analgesics, which is aspirin.
Yeah.
Labetalol is not an analgesic. So I guess it might be interesting to know if aspirin is better than labetalol, but to be honest, we care. So let's put low dose aspirin versus placebo. Is that what you guys agreed upon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was just, I wasn't going, I did like just one, even though I knew that there would be 18 outcomes. So I just put experimental was the meds and then the comparator was placebo. But we again don't care about labetalol, so we'll put aspirin versus placebo. Great, okay. And the next box is specify which outcome. So I picked severe hypertension. Oh, wait. So I said there are 18, so first we'll do severe hypertension. Does anybody who is not Abigail or Vipal want to name the other 17 outcomes for us? They're divided into two groups.
There was the maternal outcomes and the neonatal outcomes. So the maternal outcomes was like the severe hypertension, the preeclampsia, the renal impairment, the liver dysfunction, changes in ECG, placental abruption, hospital admission, venous thrombo.
Thromboembolism.
Okay, thromboembolism. Okay, and then Carcian delivery, maternal mortality.
Cesarean. It's
Oh,
okay. You
see.
guys are allowed to mispronounce things. I didn't know how to pronounce obstetrics until I was already in med school, so don't worry about it. It's cesarean delivery and maternal mortality, which fortunately there were none, so that's good. Now, some different person name the rest of the outcomes and what category the rest of them are.
The other group of outcomes is the fetal and neonatal outcomes. So
Right.
it would be small for gestational age, intrauterine fetal demise, prematurity, neonatal hypotension, neonatal hypoglycemia, neonatal hyperbilirubinemia, and,
Yeah, it's hyperbilirubinemia. Very
and
good.
then admission to NICU, and then neonatal mortality.
Right. Okay. All right. Exactly. So for educational purposes, we're just going to be doing the hypertension one. Okay. But again, don't freak out because most of the answers are going to be same for all 18 of them. Okay. All right. So specify the numerical result being assessed. In case of multiple alternative analyses being presented, specify numeric results. So what did you guys put in this box? For the box, for the line, it says specify the numerical result being assessed. What did you guys put in that box?
I know I put like um what table it was at, but I actually don't think I put like an actual numerical.
I
Well,
put, oh, sorry. I put like the value for the low-dose aspirin and then the value for the placebo.
okay. Well, um, this isn't as easy. This is why people don't do this because it's hard and it's really sort of up to interpretation. So specify the numerical result being assessed. So I put table two, and then I put that they didn't give a good definition for severe hypertension. Do we think that the numerical result being assessed is the like outcome result, like hypertension? Because was that Gloria that was just talking? Because you're saying that you think it has more to do with aspirin than with the result.
Yeah, it was just me speaking. For the numerical outcomes, I just did like the two values of the severe, like what was in the table.
Okay, so I put table two, Abigail put table two, and Vibha put table two. But that doesn't mean just because we did it, I that doesn't mean we're right. Does anybody not think that the answer that goes in this box here should be table two? It's
My
not a
o-
trick question. This is really up to interpretation.
my only thing, and this is like also interpretation wise, the paper like it doesn't do a good job with like defining how numerical results are showing like the outcome. So that's why I'm confused because like table two, it
Oh, yes, you're right. And we'll get to that. You're hitting the nail on the head right there. You're right. So I said they didn't give a definition for severe hypertension, but you'll see that they did say um, hypertension and they defined it. So we'll get to that. We'll get to that. So for right now, we're just going to say it was table two. Now, the next one is the review team's aim for this result, either option A to assess for the intention to treat. And Jordan, this is another big thing. Everybody's just going to have to memorize that assignment to intervention and intention to treat are the same thing. Okay. So if you see ITT, intention to treat, assignment and intervention, those are all interchangeable. And you must think of all of those things as being the same thing, or else you will be highly confused. So all caps, let's memorize that. The second thing is adhering to intervention, the per protocol effect. Those are the same thing. So if you see per protocol, If you see adhering to intervention, you must know that those are the same thing. Does anyone care to explain the difference between the two and how you answered this one? So what's the difference between assessing intention to treat versus assessing the per protocol effect? And well, here are the answers. But could somebody at least read the answer? Fiona, would you like to read the answer? The answer's right here. All you have to do is read it.
For this study, it was to assess the effect of assignment to intervention. And to answer your question, um, intention to treat is basically like,
Wait, let me stop you. Okay,
okay,
so you said for this study, but I will tell you this answer will be the same for all studies because it's not asking what the authors of record 9 did. It's asking what we, the review team, everybody here is the review team. The review team that they're asking about is not the authors of record 9, I guess the people in China that wrote it. It's asking about us. So we are the ones that are deciding what it is that we care about. And I will tell you that what we care about is intention to treat. Okay. So it's not going to be different for each paper. Every paper is going to be the same answer. And that answer is to assess the assignment to intervention, which is also called intention to treat. Vimpa looks like you got that, and Abigail looks like you got that. Do the two of you agree that every single record we go over, this question answer will always be that we are assessing the intention to treat? Does anybody disagree with that?
No, I do not disagree.
Great. Okay. Now, Ahmad, I interrupted you. Please continue reading the answer. Why we, as the reviewers, not the authors of the Chinese paper, why we pick intention to treat. Continue reading.
um, well, to answer your question, I think we chose like intention to treat because like we're trying to observe like just the general effect in a real world scenario, and I mean this entire study is like kind of targeted to like people and not just like I guess the efficacy of I'm trying to think. It's not that like we are focusing on like just complete accuracy of medication. We're also trying to see real world simulation, and that's why I think for every single study, our aim should be to see like it in an ITT perspective, if that makes sense.
Right. So it says in a perfect world we could do both, but like remember this is a stepping stone paper and we're not trying to get it perfect, but also systematic reviews, which is what we're doing. 95 of them only look at the intention to treat. So that's just kind of how it's done. Anyway, okay, so intention to treat is basically like you intended to give the person this drug and you're assessing what happened versus you're 100% sure they absolutely took it. And that's just not practical. Okay. So the second option, per protocol effect, just forget about it. Okay. We're not assessing what happens in a perfect world because this world is not perfect. Okay, so everybody for the question, is the review team's aim for this result? Everybody highlighted the top one that says to assess the effect of assignment to intervention in parentheses, aka intention to treat effect. Does everybody have that part highlighted? That is your answer.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, the next one we skip because we're not assessing the effect of adhering to intervention, so we don't have to answer that one. The question after it is which of the following sources were obtained to help inform the risk of bias assessment. So I am going to randomly call Samiha. What did you put for that?
I put occurrences of non-protocol intervention.
Oh, we don't need to answer that one because we're not doing the effect of adhering to intervention.
Oh, okay.
See, it says if the aim is to assess the effect of adhering to intervention, and we're not assessing the effect of adhering to intervention. We're assessing assignment to intervention.
Okay.
Jordan, I think you need to emphasize that because that's going to be confusing to a lot of people. So because we are not assessing the effect of adhering to intervention, we don't need to answer that question. The next question, which reads, which of the following sources were obtained to help inform risk of bias assessment? And then you check as many as apply. Which ones did you check, Samiha?
I put the journal articles with results of the trial because only the published journal article was provided.
That is right. Did anybody check anything besides that one? Shrenika, did you check anything except for the top one, which is journal articles with the result of the trial?
I didn't do the bias assessment, so I'm just writing it down.
No, well, remember when I went to change my kid's diaper, I said, can you guys please answer the next couple of questions until we get to risk of bias?
Yes.
That you were supposed to answer it at that time when I was changing Fiona's diaper.
Oh, let me
Okay, so if anybody missed that again, when I stepped out, I wanted everybody to independently answer these questions so that we could review them. So everybody read the question that says, which of the following sources were obtained to help inform the risk of bias assessment? Tick as many as apply. Everybody go read and select which ones apply, okay? Lydia, which ones did you tick?
The only one that I ticked was journal articles with results of the trial, because I believe that's all that's provided to us.
All right. Gloria, which ones did you tick?
I did the journal articles as well, just the journal article.
Ahmad, which one did you tick?
I also clicked just the journal articles, but I also had a question.
Yeah.
Um, for like the sources that are being listed here, they are going to be something like different other than like the study that we are seeing. Like the trial protocol is going to be like a completely different document for this study. Like, am I right about that?
Yeah, we're
Or
not doing any of this other stuff except for the
okay.
very top one. That
Okay.
would be so laborious. We would be here for the next 20 years. The only thing that we did was we read the article and the results. Nobody called the authors and asked them, and nobody found the unpublished secret files. So, Ahmad, as you were saying earlier, there's a lot of stuff missing. Does the stuff that's missing exist somewhere? Probably in a filing cabinet in China. Are we going to fly to China and dig through their filing cabinets to find it? No. Okay. So we're just going to have to deal with what they gave us. Does everybody understand?
Yes.
All right. Now, I am going to have all of you take a few minutes, if you have not already done so, and answer signaling questions 1. So 1.1, 1.2, and 1.3, and then come up with your for domain 1, come up with either low, high, or some concerns. Okay, so it's only 3 questions. You all can answer 3 questions in the next couple minutes, I take it, right?
Yes.
Nice. Okay. Should I tell Laksha we're still waiting for her to join? Hello? I'll be like, I'm gonna text her. We're still waiting. We'll wait until you get. We've been waiting an hour and 10 minutes. We're not gonna start until you're here. Can you imagine if we just sat here for an hour and 10 minutes waiting for them to join? Is everybody pretty much done, or what are we doing?
I need some more time left.
Okay, okay, got it. My husband just texted me. We are not assessing for bias. We're assessing for risk of bias. He's funny. Y'all still need more time?
I'm finished with the first like domain one.
Okay. Is there anybody not finished with first domain? Don't lie.
I
We
just need
all
like
need.
1 more minute.
Okay, okay. It's important that we know how to do these.
Just finished.
Is anybody not finished? So everybody is finished.
Yes.
I can't read minds. Can I go?
Yeah.
All right, ladies and one gentleman. We have signaling question 1. Shrenika, please read signaling question 1.1.
The question is, was the allocation sequence random?
Okay. Now, hopefully y'all attended my lecture last week where I opined on what is an allocation sequence. Trinika, what's an allocation sequence?
Hello?
Yes, you're muted.
Hello?
Hi, what's an allocation sequence?
Oh, sorry, I was muted. I thought I was muted. Um, isn't it like it's like the list that like it determines whether the person can be in the trial or not, I believe.
Hmm. Were you at my lecture about bias assessment and all that, where I talked about allocation sequence?
Was it like the study design meeting?
Yes.
I believe I was there.
Okay. So, Abigail, what's an allocation sequence?
You basically create the treatment group and the comparison group, following a sequence to choose the participants.
Okay. So, Lydia, the way that they chose who to put in what group, was it random?
Yes.
Okay. Samiha, how do we know the answer is yes?
Because they were randomly divided into 3 groups using a random table after selection.
Yeah, that's the right answer. Okay, so for 1.1, what did everybody put? On the count of 3, unmute yourselves. 1.1, the answer is
Yes.
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 sweet. Okay, so yeah, I'm trying not to do spoiler alerts. Okay, so yes. Because it says simple random table was for randomization after selection in a 1-to-1-to-1 ratio. Okay. Um, let's see. Gloria, read 1.2.
1.2 asks, was the allocation sequence concealed until participants were enrolled and assigned to the interventions?
Okay. Shrenika, what do you think? Did you put Y, PY, PM, N, or NI?
I put NI because I didn't think the paper described it, the concealment of the allocation.
I think you're right. Was anybody able to read this paper and figure out how they were able to conceal who went into what group? So for some strange reason, I put probably yes, but I think I said it doesn't say. Ah, so yeah, it doesn't say, but because I got yes for 1.1, I said probably yes, but honestly, it should probably be not enough information. Can somebody give an example, like in a article where they actually did, like where they did say, like what would it say? How about Abigail? Like, what would be written in this study for you to say yes?
If they used opaque on envelopes to hide the treatment.
Yeah. So I don't I didn't think there was enough info, but because I put yes for one, I put probably yes. But I think the answer is actually just there's not enough information. So that's fine. Did everybody put not enough information?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Vibha, you want to read 1.3?
Yeah. Did baseline differences between intervention groups suggest a problem with the randomization process?
Okay. Gloria, what did you say about this?
I said no.
Did baseline differences between intervention groups suggest a problem with the randomization process? I also, well, what did I say? I said no as well. All right. So it looks like Vibha, you said not enough information, and Abigail, you also said not enough information. Well, I said no because, all right, if you go to figure table, rather, table one, okay? If you look at the characteristics, so like these people, their age, their BMI, their complications, their blood pressure, what have you. Are any of them statistically different between the groups? So let me just say, we'll take systolic blood pressure. Group 1, low-dose aspirin was about 151. Group 2, labetalol was 152. Group 3, placebo was 150. Now, without running the numbers, which you don't actually have to do because they did it for you, but without even looking at the p-values, do you think that three numbers, 151, 152, and 150, are that much different from one another?
No.
No.
No, they're pretty close. All right, so let's take another one. Uh, the this doesn't make sense. Who has a BMI of 63? Hold on.
I think the numbers are messed up a little bit.
Yeah, because what are all these 62-year-old? Well, there's a lot messed up, which I'm gonna save my opinion until the very end because I don't want to ironically bias your risk of bias assessment. So yeah, like were there all these women 62 years old? Okay, you know what? I was just looking at the p-value. Okay. This is really open to interpretation. So the only one that I took just to eyeball was the systolic blood pressure. And I thought, okay, 151, 152, and 150, those are also similar. They're probably not many differences, right? And then I looked over and I'm like, okay, the p-value is greater than 0.5. And then I looked at all the p-values and I was like, huh, they're all greater than 0.5. So these characteristics, so baseline differences, getting back to our question 1.3, did baseline differences between intervention groups suggest a problem with randomization? I went through each of these. I went through age, parity, BMI, the blood pressures, the weeks, pregnancy, hypertension, complications, and I saw that the p-value for all of them is greater than 0.05. Does everybody see that these baseline characteristics of these three different groups does not significantly differ between the three groups?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, just for good measure. Samiha, how do I know that the characteristics baseline of these three groups doesn't differ significantly between the three groups?
Because the p-value is over 0.05.
Exactly. Okay. So then I thought, okay, well, if all these baseline characteristics are pretty similar, then the answer's got to be no, because there is no problem. But now, upon looking closer, what the heck that the low dose aspirin average age of these women was 62? That there's not that can't be right. Something weird is going on. So, first I put no because there was, no big differences. But now I'm starting to think that NL makes more sense because there's no way that all these women were in their 60s. Like, what the heck? Um, and then parity is how many kids they had. Like, do you think that these women had 54 kids? These numbers are messed up. And so, just if in the comment box, I'm gonna put NI because the numbers like this just doesn't make sense. This can't be right, and I'm starting to not believe this, anything that this study says. Can anybody come up with a reason why where it would say age it would be 62 and 56 and 58? Like, did they find the few women on Earth that can have babies in their 60s, and it just happened to be does anybody have a good reason why these numbers don't make sense?
I think they possibly inputted the numbers wrong or their calculations were wrong. And then they
All
just never
right.
fixed it properly.
Like this is just whack. So I'm going to change my answer. Okay. Ahmad, do you understand why initially I said no? Can you repeat why initially for did the baseline differences between intervention groups suggest a problem with the randomization process? Why at first I said no?
Um, I actually didn't really understand why you said no.
Okay. So the differences between the three groups. So, like, was the low dose aspirin group substantially older than the labetalol group? Or was the placebo group having like way higher BMI than the aspirin group? The answer is no, because the p values, if you look at table one, are all above 0.5. Okay. So when I made my determination, I looked at these baseline characteristics, which are outlined in table one. I saw that all the p values are bigger than 0.5. That shows me that there were no differences in these baseline um, like qualities, like the differences in age, the differences in BMI. So if there's no difference, then the answer would be no, because there's no problem there. If it was like all the women in one group were super old and all the women in another group were super young, then yes, that would suggest that there was a problem with randomization. Okay, so Maud, can you repeat back to me now that I explained it hopefully better why initially I answered no for this question?
I believe it's because, well, you looked at table one to first see like differences, and um I think you mentioned about how the p-value was like above like 0.5, which kind of like showed that there wasn't like much differences that you saw. And I'm also looking at table one, and like in terms of age, blood pressure, like it's not nearly that different. And so then to answer this question, maybe you were like, no, because like there is not a lot of differences going on.
Right. So the raw numbers I looked at just so happened to be the blood pressure, which was 151 systolic blood pressure, 151, 152, and 150. Initially, I thought, okay, that's not that big of a difference. Then I went to p values. I saw all these p values are greater than 0.05. That shows me that there were not big differences between these qualities between the groups. If there's not big differences between these qualities between the groups, then there is no problem with the randomization process. Okay. Shrenika, can you explain why initially I said no to 1.3?
You initially said no because you looked in the table one at the raw data, and basically most of the numbers, they all had p-values that were greater than, I think, 0.05. So it showed that that basically means that there might not be that big of a difference.
Correct. Now, the follow-up question is, now that I'm looking more closely, for example, at the BMI and at the age, why I am inclined to change it to not enough information.
Um, because the age seems unusually high.
Because these numbers don't make any darn sense. Like, who has a BMI of 63? You'd be dead. What is this? So at this point, I think that they just made up stuff. Okay. Can anybody think of a good reason why everybody's BMI would be like beyond morbidly obese and why the age of these pregnant women is in their 50s and 60s? I can't. No. I think that we should put not enough information. So next time I'll have to look at the numbers more clearly. All right. So my overall thing came out to be low, but I think it should be switched to some concerns now that I've discovered that the numbers that they put in this table don't make any sense. Like maybe since it was Chinese, like I don't know. Does anybody know in China, like, oh, don't they like, well, this isn't going to account for like a 30-year difference, but don't they say that your 1 year old, like the day you're born, and then like what we would say is your first birthday is your second birthday? Has
I don't
anybody ever heard that?
I don't think that's right. I think that's Korea because I'm from China. We don't do that. We don't have that.
Hmm. Well, Gloria, since you are from China and the studies from China, do you have any idea why, like, they would say that the women were in their 60s? Do women in China just have babies later?
I don't think the numbers are right. They probably either made it up or like their numbers are like really off. They probably put it wrong, I'm guessing. But I know like generally, I don't think they'll be able to find a group of pregnant women where their average population is like in the 60s. So
I agree. That is crazy. So I put low, but now that I'm looking over this again, it should really be some concerns. Okay. That is domain one. There are 5 domains. Okay. Domain two. I want you all, if you have not already, take a few minutes and complete the questions for domain two. While you guys are doing that, I'm going to try to find Kritika's phone number. Although at this point, if she jumps in, she's going to be really confused. You guys can't see my whole screen, right? You can only see the Google Doc because I don't want you guys seeing like everybody's phone numbers and contact information when I go to get this.
Yeah, we can only see the Google Doc.
Okay. That'd be real messed up if I got into everybody's phone numbers, just put them on the screen for everybody. Hi, Kritika. It's Dr. Waggle. I was calling to see if you're there so you can join in on the Zoom session. We don't want you to fall behind, and we are still Zooming, so I was hoping maybe you could jump on. I'll text you and email you again. All right, bye. It might be helpful if you guys go to the Google Classroom and then go to the post where I had posted the slides for domain one, domain two, domain three, domain four, and domain five, and open up the slides for domain two. Just saying. And the domains kind of go in order of like what happens during the research. So before we were talking about risk of bias arising from the randomization process. So at the very beginning, when you say who goes into what group, that's like the beginning. So now domain two is like something that happens next in the research, which is deviations from the intended interventions. So if that helps you like mentally map out in a chronological order of what's going on during research. And another hopeful thing is that the more of these you do, the faster and better you get at them. They're not all going to take you this long. That would be wild. You definitely get like a lot better. Abigail, would you agree that now that you've done a bunch, you're doing them faster?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. All right. Well, in the interest of time, we're going to just start doing domain two. Does anybody object? All right. So let's see. How about Lydia, read 2.1?
Were participants aware of their assigned intervention during the trial?
Well, were they?
I would say no information.
Yeah. Okay, so domain two, risk of bias due to deviations from the intended interventions, which is also called effective assignment to intervention. So there's two things for this. Hold on. Wait, which one has two? Gosh. No, don't look at my answers. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. All right. I'm trying to open something real quick, real quick. So domain two has two. Do you guys see how there's two different boxes for domain two?
Yes.
Yeah.
Ahmad, what are the differences between the two boxes for domain two?
Um, are we talking about like The one with like the elaborations and the one with like our answers? Like the two.
So if you, domain two. So Jordan, remember the thing that you wrote earlier that was really important?
Yes, I do.
That was the effect
Of assignment.
of effective assignment to intervention and effective adhering to intervention. So for domain two, there's two boxes. You do one box if your research team is doing effects of assignment to intervention, and you do another box if your team is doing effective adhering to intervention. So Ahmad, which box are we doing? Are we doing domain two box for effective assignment to intervention or effective adhering to intervention?
We are doing the assignment to intervention, the gray
Okay,
boxes.
so the gray box. Great. Okay, now that we know about that, I think Gloria was reading 2.1. Okay, so basically, it's wanting to know, do these people know which group they're in? So it says that the control group got placebo. So do we know if the placebo pill and the actual drugs looked like the same, or was one pink and one was red and one was blue?
I don't think the paper talked about
It
that.
sure didn't say that. It doesn't, we don't know. Now, Shanika, what if instead of having the control group be placebo, the control group was no treatment at all? In that case, would the answer to 2.1 be yes, they would know if they're in a treatment group or control group, or no, they wouldn't know?
I don't think they would know.
So if you're in a study and one group gets a drug and one group doesn't get a drug, you're saying you wouldn't know whether you're receiving a drug or not?
There's no placebo?
All right, so let me try to explain this better. In record number 9, they give a placebo pill. I'm saying hypothetically, in a different study where they didn't give a placebo pill, they just gave you nothing, would the participants know if they were in a control group?
Yeah, you would be able to tell if you got a pill or not.
Yes, because if they didn't give a placebo pill and they just gave you nothing, you would obviously know that you were in the gets nothing group, right?
Yes.
Now, Vibha, in this particular study, because they gave a placebo, is it possible that the people didn't know if the pill that they were taking had nothing in it or had drugs in it?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you ever are doing this in the study, the control group gets nothing, then you can be rest assured that the people getting nothing are aware that they're getting nothing. If they're getting a placebo pill, they might not know what is in that pill. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yes, but I do have a question.
Sure.
For this paper, they refer to the control group as both the placebo and drug-free group as well.
Yeah, that's something that is confusing. I think by drug free, they just mean that the pill that they're taking has no drugs in it, not pill free. That's a good question.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So let me get yours up. What did you say? Um, Paper does not report whether participants were blinded. No, we don't know. Were they blinded? It doesn't say. Inconsistent reporting of the control group as both placebo and drug free. Right. So eh, that is just poor writing. Okay. What I think they mean by drug free is that the pills have no drugs in them. Does everybody understand Abigail's question and my answer to the question?
Yeah.
Yes.
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 Okay. Now back to what I was reading. Okay. It said, but if it said no treatment, then obviously they would know that they were in the control group. So in that case, the answer would be yes, they were aware of whether they got an intervention or not. But that's not what we have here. Um here we have them actually getting a placebo. So I said probably yes. What did I say? Oh, the reason I said this is going to be discussed later on in the purple note. Okay. So same with Shanika, you want to read 2.2?
Yeah. 2.2 is were carers and people delivering the interventions aware of participants' assigned intervention during the trial?
Okay. And then what do you think about that answer? Don't read my answer.
I said NI because it didn't talk about that in the paper.
Okay. I also initially said NI, but then I found a sentence later on that gave a little hint. And then we'll get to that in a minute. So then I said, okay, the carers are like the healthcare people, whoever's giving the drugs, right? So 2.2, if the carers were giving pills, even placebo, maybe they don't know which is placebo and which is drugs, but it doesn't say. Okay. And then I said, however, if the control group, so that's the group that's getting placebo, was no meds, then the carers would know if they were giving meds or not. So in a study where the control group was getting nothing, obviously the carers, the healthcare workers would know that they're not giving the people drugs. But in this case, they are giving placebo. So it's possible that they don't know what is in the pill, if it's sugar, a placebo, or if there's drugs in it. So first, I said that there was not enough information. But then I discovered something, and it says see purple note. The purple note that I wrote that I'll get to changes my answer from not enough information in 2.1 to 2.1 being probably yes. And the thing in purple that I found later changes my answer from 2.2 to not enough information to definitely yes. Okay, so you all are going to have to just be in suspense as to what the purple note is. Okay, so let's see. Gloria, read 2.3.
For 2.3, it asks if yes, probably yes or no information to 2.1 or 2.2, were there deviations from the intended interventions that arose because of the trial context?
All right, so what did you put?
I put probably no.
All right, let's see what Abigail. Abigail, you said probably no. Why'd you say that?
Um, the changes were consistent with what they described in the method section.
All right, so all right, you put in. All right, so let me read this again. Were there deviations from the intended intervention that arose because of the trial context? And that you only do that if the answer to the above ones are not enough information or yes or probably yes. Okay. So you said in patients with high blood pressure who received the full dose of particular antihypertensive medicines in this study or other hypertensive medicines can be taken at any time. Changes to the intervention were consistent with the trial protocol. No other deviations arising because of the trial context were reported. So can you explain your answer and your reasoning for the answer once again?
Yes. So they basically said in the method section that for patients with high blood pressure, and if they've been taking the full dose of that medication, they could take additional anti-hypertensive drugs. And because they specified it in their method section, it's not considered a deviation, basically.
Okay. And I feel like there was a slide in the slide presentation that specifically addresses that. Do you recall that being a thing?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, we're not going to do 2.4 or 2.5, right? Does everybody agree we don't need to do those ones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, so 2.6, Shanika.
2.6 says, was an appropriate analysis used to estimate the effect of assignment to intervention? And then I said not enough information. And I.
All right, so Abigail
I said
said
probably yes.
yeah, go ahead.
I said probably yes because looking at the flow diagram, it seems like it's consistent with an MITT because the number of participants that were analyzed, it corresponds with the number of participants minus those that were lost to follow up.
Now, do we know that? Okay, first of all, someone not Abigail, when she said those lost the follow up, how many is she talking about? What's the number? Lydia,
4. Oh, sorry.
go ahead.
4.
I didn't get 4. Abigail, did you get 4?
No.
No. Did anybody get 11?
Yeah, it was 11 for all.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, Abigail, you said lost the follow up, but do we know that those 11 were lost the follow up?
It says it in figure 1.
So figure 1. Oh, 4 would be for labetalol. Oh yeah, lost the follow up. Yeah, you're actually right. I was trying to see where these people disappeared to. Okay. Yes, but do we? Okay. You're right. I missed that part. See, this is why we're all working together here. An appropriate analysis used to estimate the effect of assignment to intervention. So what did I put? I put not enough information, but you put yes, because the flow diagram, which is figure 1, is consistent. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I probably yes. This is very open to interpretation here. So I don't know. What do you think about my answer, Abigail? So I don't think that the chi-square and Fisher has anything to do with this, but what I said was, do we know whether the participants were analyzed in the originally assigned groups? I mean, we can assume, but um,
Yeah, they never clearly stated that.
yeah, because couldn't people mix up or do something like that?
True. But then when I look at the other tables, it's consistent with the number of participants for each group.
Okay. Well, then maybe yes. And then overall, Abigail, looks like you put low, but it looks like I put some concerns. Let's see what Vibha has for 2. She also put low. And that doesn't mean that you guys are wrong. It could mean that I'm wrong. Does everybody agree that the risk of bias for deviations from the intended intervention is low? Or did you guys think some concerns? Did anybody get high risk for this one? Oh, wait, my purple note. It is some concerns because of my purple note. I'm not wrong after all. I forgot about my purple note. Is everybody in suspense?
Yeah.
All right. So originally we thought there was not enough information for 2.1 and 2.2, but then purple note. Where's my purple note? All right, so you guys can see my answers to 2.1. The study says change in dose according to blood pressure level of participants increased side effects. So this would imply that the carers did know who was getting it, because how could they know to change a dose if they didn't know who was actually getting the drug? So this shows us that the caregivers did know which patients were in which groups. Why is my screen sharing paused? Can anybody see what I'm talking about?
We can see
No,
your
it's still
screen,
stuck
but
on
it's like
4.4
yeah, it's on 4 point. The
or
domain.
like the domain 4.
Oh my gosh, am I sharing the wrong thing this whole time? That would suck. Okay, hold on. And share. Yep, I've been sharing the wrong thing this whole time. All right. Okay, so all right, this is the, can you all see it says it's 7.24.26 meeting and it says private message me your bias rating, all this.
Yes.
Okay. Now, you guys can go back how and watch. So this is what I was actually trying to go over. So this was my answer to domain 1. Okay, so domain 2, you guys can see me highlighting this. All right. Risk of bias. Can you see this highlighting?
Yes, we can see
Yes,
it.
we can.
We can see it.
Okay, so this is where I talk a lot about the difference between intention to treat and per protocol, because domain 2 is the one where it has 2 different potential like boxes to fill out, which was the question Ahmad did. Okay, and then my answers, you can see them. It's so hard because like I have so many things on my screen. Okay, so domain 2, there's the other 11, but now we know they were lost to follow up. Always do the math. Don't assume that the trial was unblinded or high risk just because blinding is not mentioned. So this is the purple. So, okay. Originally in 2.1 and 2.2, we thought that there was NI, right? But because of this line right here, change in dose according to blood pressure levels if participants increase side effects, that changed my answer to 2.1 and 2.2 from not enough information to yes and possibly yes. Because how would the carers know to change the patient's dosage if they didn't know what medications they were taking? All right. I feel like maybe I didn't explain that good enough. Shrenika, do you understand what I'm saying?
Sort of. Would you be able to say it again?
Okay, so the signaling questions 2.1 and 2.2 are asking about, did the patients know what groups they were in? Did the carers, aka the healthcare workers, know what groups the people were in? Okay, so initially it looks like we have no idea because it doesn't say, right?
Yeah.
Okay. However, there is a line in here that says that the healthcare worker changes the patient's dosage according to their blood pressure. So, how could they change a patient's dosage if they don't know whether the patient is taking labetalol or placebo or aspirin?
That means that they do know then?
Yeah. Okay. So, hi, Critica. You're going to be
I'm so
so
sorry.
confused. I'm sorry. You're going to have to go back and hopefully this thing records so that you can watch it later. Lydia, can you explain once again for 2.2? Critica, can you please get out the template that has these questions and then the blank so that you can go through and fill out the answers? We're on domain 2.
Okay.
All right, so who did I say? Lydia? Okay. Questions 2.1 and 2.2 are asking, do the participants and do the healthcare workers know who's in what group? Initially, it looked like the answer would be not enough information because it like literally doesn't say. However, I discovered in the article a line that says that the healthcare workers changed the people's blood pressure dosages depending on side effects. So this implies that the healthcare worker would have to know, because how would the healthcare worker change a dose if they don't know if they're on aspirin or labetalol?
Sorry, what was the question?
Okay.
I understand
This,
what you had said. I just didn't understand what I was
okay,
supposed to answer.
so Lydia, okay. What was the first answer and the reasoning for it? And what was my final answer and the reasoning for it for 2.1 and 2.2?
So the first answer was not enough information because it wasn't clear in the paper. And then with
Wait,
this,
what wasn't clear in the paper?
whether the participants were aware of the assigned intervention and if whether the caregivers or the people that gave the intervention knew of the participants' assigned interventions, those were both
Correct.
unclear. And then
Correct.
after finding the line that indicates that they do know which participants got which medication due to like
Well,
changes.
the line doesn't say that they do know. The line says that they changed the dosage according to blood pressure levels and side effects.
Yeah.
But we unfortunately have to deduce from that they do know.
Yeah, and then that changed 2.1's answer to probably yes and 2.2 to yes.
Right. Okay. Now that one sentence changed those two, the final changes from low to some concerns. But Abigail and Vibha, you don't need to change yours because ultimately we all got the same answer, so it's fine. Okay, now, does anybody have any questions about domain 2, which has to do with risk of bias due to deviations from the intended interventions?
I had a question.
Yeah.
So for signaling question 2.1, at least in this image, it says that like the answer is probably yes, but in the paper, it doesn't specify if the participants themselves knew about the like intervention that they received because they were also.
This is where we use our critical thinking skills. So, if you are a participant in this study and you're having side effects and your healthcare provider is changing the dose of the drug that you're getting based on your side effects, can you probably figure out if you're on a real drug or a fake drug?
Um, Probably.
Probably yes. So
Okay, yeah.
that's why the question, were the participants aware of the group that they're in? I think probably yes, because if you're getting side effects and the person giving you a med is changing the dose and the pill looks different and all that stuff, it might be pretty obvious which group you're in. But we don't know for sure. Maybe they're oblivious and they are not paying attention and they just don't look that far into it. So that's why it's not definitely yes.
Thank you. That helped.
Okay, so Abigail and Vibha, you understand why initially I said the same thing, but just finding that one little line changed it.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Okay, but keep your answers because don't worry about it. We all get the same thing in the end.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions about domain 2, risk of bias due to deviations from the intended interventions, specifically for the effect of assignment to intervention, not for actual adherence to the intervention? No, yes. Okay, so this is the pathway we took. So, in 2.1, 2.2, I said yes, and then 2.3, I said not information, and that's what led me to some concerns. Okay. All right, now, so far we're doing domain 1 of 18, which is hypertension. At any point, any answer that we had changed based on whether it was hypertension or whether it was preeclampsia, or whether it was renal impairment, or would all the answers so far be the same for all of the 18 outcomes?
I guess it would be the same.
So far.
Everything's the same so far. So far you would have just copy and pasted. Will that be the case for every study that you do Rob 2 for?
Probably not.
No, but we can.
Probably not, but you can hope so because that will make your life easier. Okay, so while I go get more milk for this baby, I want you guys to answer the box for domain 3. Kritika, do you share your screen with me and show me that you have the boxes open and that you are following along, or else none of this will make any sense. And while Kritika's doing that, you guys please work on answering the questions for domain 3, missing outcome data. Kritika, are you there?
Yes, sorry, I'm pulling it up. I'm figuring out what I do.
Are you at a party?
No, my plane just landed.
Oh.
I'm at the airport right now.
Oh my gosh. Well, that explains why I couldn't find you. I hope you're someplace fun like Hawaii. All right, I'm going to get milk. Everybody gets out their domain 3 box and fills in the questions. Yes, we know what we're doing. We're not going to just sit here and stare. We're going to work on this. Yes.
Yes, Dr. Waggel.
Very good. Excellent. All right, did everybody do domain free?
Yes.
Yes.
Was it fun?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right. So, somebody read 3.1. Jordan.
3.1 asks, were data for this outcome available for all or nearly all participants randomized?
Well, what do you think?
For this one, I put probably yes, just because I know because this is I've found like trouble with like the difference between 3.1 and 2.7. But based on this, because like there was no there were people that dropped out of the study. Um, there was not any outcome data that was left, but also with like the um the tables and things like that, knowing that like the numbers are off, now I'm like thinking, I don't know, it's not as sufficient evidence.
All right. Well, okay. So let's see. Abigail said, oh, you know what? I need to make sure that I'm looking at Abigail's hypertension one, and I don't know uh if I am because I'm on because this is where we might start being different depending on outcome, which Shanika, how many outcomes are there?
Um, I think 18.
Yes, the answer is 18. So, Abigail, I am on, I don't know if you picked the same one first. I'm on page 6 of 162 for your record 9. Did you start with severe hypertension for your outcome as well?
Yes, I did.
Okay, good. Whew. All right. So you said probably yes, outcome data were available from nearly all randomized participants, 252 out of 262 for low-dose aspirin versus placebo. The numbers of observed events, 97 events, was much greater than that, and the number of participants with missing outcome data. All right. So you were talking about, all right, Trinika, which outcome are we talking about?
Um,
Now remember, there's 18 of them.
I don't remember.
We're doing the outcome of severe hypertension.
Okay.
Now, Shrenika, is severe hypertension a maternal outcome or an outcome of the baby?
Outcome of the baby.
No. So if you go to table 2, maternal outcome of low dose aspirin, et cetera, severe hypertension is the first one listed there. All
In
right, so there's
table
8.
2.
Table 2, maternal outcome. So
Oh, I
we're
see.
not just doing one ROB2 per study, we're doing a ROB2 per outcome.
Okay, I see.
And Critica, how many outcomes are there in this particular study, record number 9?
18.
18. Are we talking about all 18 right now?
No, we're only talking about one, severe hypertension.
All right, great. Now that we're all on the same page, were data for this outcome, severe hypertension, available for nearly all participants randomized? Okay, so Vibha says probably yes, but you don't give an explanation. And Abigail says probably yes. And she says that the outcome data for nearly all randomized participants is there. And then let's see what I said. 3.1. I said yes. Only 11 of the 393 in total were missing. But Abigail and Vibha is specific to aspirin, and I talk about all of them, even including labetalol. Uh, but whatever. I think the answer is yes. Did anybody get anything besides yes?
No.
All right. Now, we don't need to do 3.2 or 3.3. So what is did everybody get low, or did anybody get anything like some concerns or
I got low.
I got
Also
low.
got low.
Me too.
okay. All right. So Abigail, my rationale, does it make sense to you? Because honestly, at this point, you've done more of these than I have. If there was more missing, how can I tell if there is evidence? Okay, you guys, this is where this particular record is easy because there are not many missing. But if you guys bring up the slides for Rob 2, Domain 3, which are posted so you all have access to them, please take a moment and bring up those slides. It's in that post that has all the slides. Rob 2, Domain 3. What are, okay. Let's see. Shanika, in this particular example, record 9, is Domain 3 easy or hard to do?
It's easy because only 11 are missing.
Correct. So this one was easy. There's not many missing. But for good measure, there will be a point where there is a lot missing, and you're going to need to know if they did a good job accounting for that. And that is why you go to the slides for Domain 3. And in slides for Domain 3, it shows you what a study should do if there is a lot missing. And then you can determine if they did that correctly. So getting back to my answers, if there were more missing, can you guys see me highlighting, by the way?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, if there are more missing, how could I tell that the evidence from a sensitivity analysis that the results are not biased by the outcome data? So I can't in this because they didn't do a sensitivity analysis, but they didn't need to. So without looking at the slide, Vibha, are chi-squared and Fisher's exact test sensitivity analysis?
No.
No. What do they do? No. Here, cover it up.
They just compared like the observed data from like the groups.
Right. They're not telling you that they're not sensitivity analyses. Now let's see. Lydia, can you name? So we just established that chi-squared and Fisher's exact test are not sensitivity analyses. Can you name 3 sensitivity analyses? Hint, they're in the PowerPoint that I posted for Domain 3. All right, better question. Can anybody give the names of specific sensitivity analyses? All right, so Abigail, have you come across in your Rob 2 escapades any studies, unlike this study record number 9? This study record number 9 only has 11 missing, so Domain 3 is easy. Have you come across any studies where there was a ton of stuff missing?
Yes. Yes, we have.
And did they have sensitivity analyses done in those to find out if the missing data, if it biased the results?
There was only one, and I believe it was for only one outcome.
Okay. And do you happen to know the names of sensitivity analyses? So if you have a study, there's a lot missing, and they want to know if everything missing affects the results or biases it. They do a sensitivity analysis, and there's 3 main sensitivity analyses that they can do. And each of them, of course, have names. Do you know the names of any of them?
I don't remember.
Okay. Now, the one study that you did the Rob 2 for that did have a lot missing, do you remember if they just ignored the fact that there was a lot missing, or do you remember if they did a sensitivity analysis to see if what was missing was impactful?
I believe they did the an analysis to see if missing outcome data did change the result.
Okay. That is called a sensitivity analysis. Now, examples of sensitivity analyses are tipping point analysis, delta adjusted imputation, and pattern mixture models. Okay. So, in the event that you are doing the Rob 2 on a study that has a lot of data missing, which is not this study because there's not a lot missing, if you find one where there is a lot, you will look through and see if you see the words tipping point analysis, delta adjusted imputation, or pattern mixture models. Okay. This wasn't in there because they didn't have to do it. Okay. Let's see. Vipha, can you explain back to me what it is that I just said so that I know if what I said made any sense to anybody?
About like the types of the
All right.
sensitivity
So
analysis.
let's say that you're doing a different record and like half of the data is missing, okay? How can you tell if they did a good job to see if the missing data caused bias?
So usually they would like state in the paper that they did like an analysis of it,
What kind of an analysis?
sensitivity analysis.
Sensitivity analysis, right. And yes, and continue. So they would state in the paper they did a sensitivity analysis.
And they would like to describe like the type of sensitivity analysis. So like the ones that the examples are like the tipping point analysis or the pattern mixture models or the delta adjusted imputation. And then they would describe if the if it was like bias for it or not.
Correct. Now, Critica, can you explain for domain 3, our current paper that we're doing, record 9? Do we need to answer most of these questions, or do we not need to really worry about domain 3 because there is not much missing from this particular paper, record 9?
There isn't much missing from this particular, like from the participant group, so we don't need to worry about that.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
There isn't much missing from,
Yes.
yeah.
There isn't much missing. Now, if you do another Rob 2 on a paper where there is much missing and you do need to answer most of the questions in domain number 3, what will you look for in that paper?
The keywords like tipping point or imputation or things like that.
Yes, you will look to see if they did sensitivity analyses, in particular, tipping point analysis, delta adjusted imputation, and pattern mix models. Does anybody not understand? Because it's important, because at some point you're going to come across a study that has missing data and you're going to need to know how to answer the questions for domain 3. Okay. Domain 3 does not appear to differ among the reported outcomes. So if you do this 18 times, one time for each outcome, this would be the same. Abigail, do you agree? You did domain 3 for all 18 outcomes. Was domain 3 for all 18 outcomes the same for you?
No, it was not.
Uh-oh. Okay. Which outcome was different?
Okay, give me 1 second. Neonatal hypoglycemia, for instance.
Okay. Now everybody look at table 3. These are fetal and neonatal outcomes. These are not maternal outcomes. So neonatal hypoglycemia
It'll be
Okay.
page 132.
Heavens. I think you might be right. All right, page 132. Nobody else has access to Abigail's, I don't think, but 132. All right, I'm there. Actually, 132 is domain. Oh, I'm on VibHuz. That's why. Sorry. Let me go to 132. Yikes. Do you guys understand what I'm asking, Abigail? I'm asking her if domain number three's answers are the same for all 18 outcomes because they were for mine, but I think Abigail probably is correct. All right, so I'm on page 132, and just for the sake of figuring out if they're all the same, we're temporarily no longer talking about severe hypertension as an outcome. We're talking about neonatal hypoglycemia, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, I think you did this better than me. So please explain why this does not have enough available data in terms of neonatal hypoglycemia.
Okay. First thing is we have to consider whether the outcome is continuous or dichotomous. With
Yes. Can you please explain to everybody what dichotomous means?
Dichotomous means that there are only two options. You either have the condition or you don't.
So, for example, neonatal mortality means the baby dies, which is very sad. But you can't both die and not die. Would you say that's a good example of what it is that you're trying to say?
Yeah.
Okay. Is anybody not, you guys have to speak up if you don't understand. I'm not going to be like, oh, you're dumb. Like, please tell me, because if you don't understand, then nothing subsequent to this is going to make sense. Do you guys understand the idea of the dichotomous outcomes?
To
So,
clarify,
Oh,
sorry.
go ahead.
Uh, so like to clarify, basically all it is like there's only like one condition like you like with the dying example, you can't like die and not die, or like you like it's just one singular condition. It's not like two at the same time. Um,
Yes. Abigail, why don't you go through all 18 and tell us if they're dichotomous or not?
okay.
Let's start with one being severe hypertension. Everybody go to outcome number one, which is severe hypertension, which is listed in table two of maternal outcomes. So severe hypertension.
It is a dichotomous outcome.
And Lydia, why is severe hypertension a dichotomous outcome?
Because as Abigail said, you either have the condition or you don't. Does that make sense? Or like,
Abigail, is that what if? Okay, maybe I'm getting confused. Abigail, do you agree with that?
Yeah, I think because they defined severe hypertension as blood pressure 160 or 110.
Mhm.
You either have that or you don't.
That's true. Okay. Uh, What about preeclampsia?
Same thing. It'll be dichotomous.
All right, renal impairment,
Dichotomous.
liver dysfunction,
Dichotomous.
changes in ECG,
That's also dichotomous.
placental abruption,
Dichotomous.
hospital admission,
Dichotomous.
venous thromboembolism,
Dichotomous.
cesarean delivery,
Dichotomous.
maternal mortality.
Dichotomous.
Small for gestational age, SGA. Now we're going to table two, which is outcomes for the baby.
It'll be dichotomous.
Intrauterine fetal demise.
Dichotomous.
Prematurity.
Dichotomous.
Neonatal hypotension.
Dichotomous.
Neonatal hypoglycemia.
Dichotomous.
Neonatal hyperbilirubinemia.
Dichotomous.
Admission to NICU.
Dichotomous.
Neonatal mortality.
Dichotomous.
Can we think of an example of what wouldn't be dichotomous?
Birth weight.
And can you explain that? Oh, that's because it's
Continuous outcome.
right. You so when you have it or you don't, birth weight isn't you have it or you don't.
I think it's because the value will differ.
Yes. Yes. That you don't say I have a birth weight or I don't have a birth weight.
Mhm.
Would you agree?
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense. Okay, now getting back to 3.1 for the neonatal hypoglycemia. Was that the one we were on?
Yes.
All right, please explain your 3.1 for that particular outcome.
Okay. So the number of observed events for this outcome was only 8 for LDA plus placebo, and the number of missing outcome data was 7. And based on the guideline, the number of e events has to be much greater than the number of missing outcome data. And since it's not, we'll have to go with PN for this one.
Okay, so now this is because I didn't get that far. I really only did the severe retention. So for neonatal hypoglycemia, you'll have to excuse my ignorance, but how do you know how many were missing?
From the flow diagram, so figure 1 for LD.
Oh, okay, okay. Hold on, let me get that. It's so hard. I only have one hand. Figure 1, but how is that specific to neonatal hypoglycemia?
Um, I think you apply that for every outcome. Since there was 2 participants missing from the LDA group and then 5 from the placebo, there were 7 missing outcome data. And we don't know why they were lost to follow up.
All right. So, if are you getting any of your information from table 3?
Um, table 3. Yes. For table 3, I can see that for LDA, there were 5 participants who had this outcome, and then for the placebo, there were 3 of them. So together, there are 8 um events.
And the fact that there were 11 missing is what makes you think that that's too many missing?
7 was missing. Because looking at the crib sheet for Rob 2, it says that if the observed number of events is much greater than the number of participants with missing outcome data, the bias would necessarily be small. And
Oh
in
my gosh. Can you like screenshot that and copy it and paste it and share it for everybody? Because that's super important. Because I missed that part. Can you post it in the stream?
yes, I can.
And um was 3 point or was domain 3 missing outcome data only substantial for neonatal hypoglycemia or were there other ones?
There were other ones as well.
All right. When you're done posting that, can you tell me which other ones it was different for?
Okay. Okay, I made the post. Um, Another outcome that is just like this is embolism.
All right. Give me 1 second. Wait, the screenshot that you posted is not the one that I'm looking at.
I can share the link to the document.
No, I have the document. Hold on. So I'm on your document and I'm on page 132. I saw you just type just now.
Um, I'm looking at page 69.
Wait, I thought we were talking about neonatal hypoglycemia.
Yeah. I was identifying more outcomes that were just like this.
Wait, no, let's back up. Let's only talk about, just for 1 second, let's only talk about neonatal hypoglycemia. That you did on page 132?
Yes.
Okay. So what I wanted you to put in the stream was the key, which I believe was from one of the slides. So back up and talk about that key phrase about how many events versus how much is missing.
Yes. So from the crib sheet that I was looking at, the observed number of events has to be much greater than the number of participants with missing outcome data. So
Wait,
that
so Jordan, for good measure, Abigail, say that again, and Jordan, type that in your notes with all capitals. Ready, go.
if the observed number of events is much greater than the number of participants with missing outcome data, the bias would necessarily be small.
And note in your notes that this is particular to domain 3. Okay, now the number of observed events for neonatal hypoglycemia. Now, where did you get? I see that you have 8. Is that true?
Yes, from table 3. There's 5 from LDA and then 3 from placebo.
Yes, because we're not worried about labetalol.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
All right. And so, the number of participants missing, we're not factoring in labetalol. So the number of participants missing is 7. Do you agree?
Yes,
And 8 is greater than 7.
it is, but it's not much greater than 7. There's only one difference.
But it is enough to put PN.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
All right. Because this is even difficult for me, I have a sneaking suspicion that a lot of you are very confused. So, once again, let me bring us to where we are, and Abigail, you explain the fact that you put PN here. So, we are doing these charts for all 18 outcomes, okay? The outcomes that have a number of events that is comparable to those that are missing need to be answered PN here. Does that make sense? Abigail, do you agree with that?
Yes, I do.
Now, I feel like it needs to be said again, but a different way, because I feel like who is confused and who knows exactly what's happening? A show of hands, hit the hand button if you're confused.
Um, so just to reiterate, what is so because the observed number of events, which was 8, which was for the neonatal hyperglycemia was 8, and if 8 is greater than 7, that mean or 8 is only slightly greater than 7, that means that we answer probably no for for the signaling question.
Yes. Correct,
So
Abigail?
Yes, that is correct.
would be considered like a substantial number, because I know it was like I don't remember, it said something like 95% or something, but like what would be like considered significant?
That is
That's a
up to
great question.
your judgment. I would like when Viva and I were doing this, we were going for the number being at least to 5 times greater than the missing outcome data.
But it's not 4 or 5 times greater, and you still put
It doesn't specifically tell you that, but we've been using that baseline so far.
okay. So what I'm gonna do, because I feel like a lot of you might not be knowing where these numbers are coming from, is I'm gonna do some screenshots and paste them into the thing. So bear with me. Does I'm assuming not. I'm gonna show you where 7 comes from. Okay, I'm gonna do a little paint. I want everybody to sit and ponder this because it's tricky.
So with us reviewing the rest of the records, should that just be like something that's set for everyone reviewing the records, that like we should look for something that's 4 to 5 times greater?
I can't answer that because I actually do not know the answer. So, Jordan, can you put that question so that I can do some detective work and figure out if there may not be an answer. Okay. Can you guys see me typing?
Yes,
Yes.
Okay. Abigail.
that is correct.
All right. Does everybody see where the number 7 came from?
Yeah.
Maybe, yes, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can see that.
All right. Now we're going to find out where the number 8 came from. Again, this is a temporary detour from the outcome of severe hypertension to the outcome of neonatal hypoglycemia to demonstrate a more complicated answers to domain 3. What is going on? Okay, so here's where we get 8.
Yes, that is correct.
All right, does everybody see where we got these numbers from in the study now?
Yes.
Now that we know where the numbers came from, we need to determine whether the difference in these numbers is big enough that we are going to, like, how we're going to answer this, which is a very good question that I'm going to have to figure out at some point in the future. So, Abigail, and let's see, Vibha, I don't know what did you put for this because yours is 145 pages. I don't know what
I
page this
put
one's on.
I put the same thing as
Okay.
Abigail.
Were the data for this outcome available? All right, so you guys said probably not. But if it was 4 times bigger, you would have put definitely not.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Now we need to know where the cutoff here is. Is this just so you've decided that this is a number that we just kind of pick? I feel like it's got to be written down somewhere. That is a question that we're going to have to answer later. But regardless, so does anybody know, like the other ones that we're going to also say probably not, what key element would be the same across them? Like if you're just looking at the charts, are you looking for high numbers or low numbers if you're going to say probably not?
Probably low numbers.
Correct. Who said that?
Jordan.
And explain why.
Because that means there was nothing to report. There's no data.
That means that if the number of occurrences is low, then it's probably closer to the number of missing. If the number of occurrences is super high, then that would mean that whatever amount is missing probably isn't big enough to affect it. Do you agree, Vibha and Abigail?
Yes. Yes, we do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that in mind, can anybody guess what the other ones that have a probably no in domain 3 are going to be by looking at just table 3 for right now? Shrenika.
Um, I'm not sure.
So you're looking at table 3 and you're looking for low numbers.
I'm looking for low numbers.
Yes. Does anybody want to repeat what we said about when you are looking for an outcome that for domain 3 is going to be more complicated because the answers to 3.1 is going to be probably not or not. Are you looking for occurrences that are a lot of occurrences or occurrences that are little occurrences?
Little.
Correct. Now, can somebody explain that concept to Shanika so that she can look at this table and pick what other outcomes are likely to have a N or probably not?
Essentially, we're looking for low occurrences because the missing outcomes was 7. So anything that's not really that much greater than 7, such as like we have the 8 from the neonatal hyperglycemia, is gonna not be like it's gonna indicate that there's some semblance of like bias there. So we just want something a low number indicates that like there's some semblance of bias.
That was fantastic. So, with that information in mind, Shanika, can you tell us what you think the other outcomes that have N or PN for 3.1 could potentially be?
Is it the intra intro, I don't know how you say that, intrauterine fetal demeanor?
Intrauterine fetal demise. That means that the baby died inside the womb. And I would say yes. Abigail, do you agree?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Now, Shanika, pick another one that you think would be low enough to be considered an N or PN
Probably
for 3.5.
neonatal mortality.
Navigia, do you agree?
Yes.
All right. Any others?
I think that's it.
Navigia, do you have any others?
Um, let me see. I think the hypotension one. Yeah, that one.
All right. Yeah, so hypotension is 10. So 10 is pretty close to 7.
Yeah. And I think there's one more. Um, hy hypobilirubinemia.
Bilirubin, hypobilirubinemia. And so for hypobilirubinemia, let's see, hypo, Shrenika, what are the numbers for hypobilirubinemia that we're looking at?
Actually, that one is fine.
Okay, okay, it's fine, but still, just so we all know how to read a table, Shrenika, what are the numbers that we were assessing?
19 and 16.
Yeah, look at you. Okay. Okay, so in summary, most of the outcomes of the 18 outcomes were easy for domain 3 because there wasn't that many missing, except for Zabagia politely corrected me and that there were some outcomes that there weren't many occurrences of, and so by comparison, the missing ones were significant. This is not a trick question. I want to make sure everybody agrees. Does that make you're allowed to disagree because I'm making mistakes too, because this is like a hard thing to do. Vibha, you did this. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Okay. Any more questions about outcome data, missing outcome data for domain 3?
So just to like reiterate, because I might be a bit confused, there wasn't that many drops. However, if it's compared to like the different like outcomes, because some of these outcomes in table 3, like there's like very few cases, then in that case the drop amount can be like severe. Like, is that basically?
You got it. Oh, that was
Yay.
music to my ears. Perfect. Jordan, write that down because that was a beautiful summation of my very long-winded explanation. Ahmad just put it into a clear and simple sentence.
Noted.
Very good. You guys are so smart. And the baby is learning so much too. Okay, great. This is great because she needs more milk. So I will let you guys go to domain 4 and answer them among yourselves while I go get more milk. Okay. Now, I know we might have confused some people by jumping to different outcomes, but remember, we're still doing the outcome for severe hypertension here. Excuse the slurping sounds. It's the ambient noise of being a new mom.
Can I just ask one question?
Yeah.
So when we were talking about dichotomous and continuous outcomes, was that like I know it was for like the signaling questions 3.1, but what did it why were we talking about that if that makes sense? Like what was
Oh, yeah, that's a great question. And I oh, I had in I had typed out something about it and put it in this document that I'm sharing with you guys, but to be honest, it was so confusing. I feel like I might have deleted it. Why don't you put that in the questions that we can all answer later thing? Because I tried to answer that myself and I remember typing it up and then deleting it because I didn't like my answer. Abigail and Vibha, you guys did this. Do you have an answer for like it's also in one of the slides somewhere. The dichotomous. That was under like error. I have guesses, but I don't want to say the wrong thing. So we're just going to type that and make that a question for later, unless Vibha or Abigail has a good answer for that. Like why the question, Jordan, I think, is why do we care if it's dichotomous outcome or not?
right?
Right?
Yes.
And
I,
I have an idea, but I don't want to say because I could be wrong.
yeah, I don't think I have a good answer for that.
I do remember it being in one of the slides. And since you guys can't, what I'm gonna have to do is just paste one by one the YouTube videos because um I don't think the slides alone are going to explain because I do remember one of the lecturers talking about that. So I will find the answer. So one of the lecturers did talk about dichotomous outcomes. So the answer exists somewhere. Um, so let's get rolling with number 4. All right. So risk of bias and measurement of the outcome. Um, so just to be clear, chi-square and Fisher exact test, were these sensitivity analyses?
No.
No. What were the 3 sensitivity analyses that we talked about before?
One of them was tipping point.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Delta adjusted imputation and then pattern mixture models.
Yes. So this is just a refresher of the past. Now getting back to where I just was, the question is chi-square and Fisher exact test methods of analyzing the data or methods of measuring the outcome?
Methods of analyzing the data.
Yes. What is a method of measuring the outcome? In this case, the outcome is severe hypertension. All right, Shrenika, if we are measuring the outcome and the outcome is severe hypertension, what is the measurement of that outcome?
Do you mean the numbers?
How do you measure hypertension?
Isn't there like a set number if, like if your blood pressure is like above a like certain number, then like you have hypertension. I'm not too sure.
Yes. So hypertension, is it a blood test? Do you take people's blood and it says, oh, this person has hypertension?
It's blood pressure. I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
you put a cuff on their arm and you press the button.
Yeah.
This isn't like a trick. This is the question is how do you measure somebody's blood pressure? So, to be extra clear, are chi-square and Fisher exact tests, scrolling back up, are they sensitivity analyses?
No.
No.
No. Are chi-square and Fisher exact tests a method of measuring an outcome? Specifically, is it a way to measure somebody's blood pressure?
No.
No. So I know that you're all keep tempted to talk about measurements being chi-square and Fisher exact tests, but we're not there yet. The method of measuring an outcome, and this particular outcome that we're talking about now, which is severe hypertension, is simply taking someone's blood pressure. Okay? All right. The measurement of severe hypertension is taking somebody's blood pressure or the blood pressure cuff. Maybe they used a stethoscope to do it. Maybe they used an automatic cuff. Maybe they had a seasoned MD taking it. Maybe they had a brand new nursing student taking it. Maybe they used the same cuff for everybody, or maybe they used a larger cuff for people with large arms. So there's a lot of ways to measure the outcome. Does that make sense to people?
Yes, this
Yes.
actually clears it up a lot.
I'm sorry?
Yes, yes. I was because I was gonna ask questions about this, but this cleared it up. So
All right, good. That's what I'm here for. Um, So let me get VibHi's record number 9, your signaling question 4.1, domain 4 for severe hypertension. You put N, is that correct?
Yeah.
All right, let me look at Abigail. You put for signaling question 4.1, domain 4 for the outcome of severe hypertension. You also put N.
Yeah.
All right, now let's not get confused about double negatives here. Just because you put N, it's asking if it's inappropriate. So it's not inappropriate. So that implies that it's appropriate. Although, I won't get into all that. So, in my opinion, they didn't actually define severe hypertension. They just said high blood pressure is 160 over 110. But for all intents and purposes, I just assumed that they mean their cutoff for severe hypertension was 160 over 110. So in Abigail, as you said, the method of measuring the outcome was appropriate. Severe hypertension was defined as systolic blood pressure 160 over 110. And although they did not explicitly say it, I took what they said as meaning that as well. Vibha, you did not write any comments, but you put that the answer is no. So you put that the outcome, the way of measuring severe hypertension was indeed appropriate. Are we all on the same page with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, you guys were, while I was getting milk, you guys were all supposed to answer these. I am not going to make fun of you. I genuinely want to know, did anybody put anything other than N for 4.1?
Are you like saying and for like no? Because like in your screen it says shows like no information. Like
Yeah, these are my answers. I just said what Vibha and Abigail's
okay,
are. I didn't
okay.
say that. Yeah, I mean, I didn't. That's why I'm asking, did you guys get anything other than N? I did.
Yeah, I got no information.
Okay. Did anybody get anything other than N or no information? Did anybody say yes or probably yes? Okay. What are you gonna do? Shanika, what did you get for that?
I put N.
Gloria, what did you get?
I also put N.
Lydia, what did you put?
I put an I.
Uh, Jordan, what did you put?
I put no information.
Is that all all the people left here? Where did everybody go? Anyway, so everybody got either N or NI, right?
Yeah.
Nobody thought that that was directly inappropriate is what we're saying here. Right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so now I could see it going either way. The reason I put no information is because they weren't explicit to say that their cutoff for defining severe hypertension was 160/10. But I think Vibha and Abigail are right that we're supposed to surmise that the fact that they said high blood pressure is 160/10. Do you guys see where my mouse is?
Yeah, we can see it.
Yes.
So I just put, I mean, they weren't very direct. You have to make assumptions. And so this is kind of open to interpretation, to be honest. Okay, now 4.2, could the measurement or ascertainment of the outcome have differed between the intervention groups? So I put that there was not enough information, and I put because the threshold's the same for everybody, but how often was it taken and who took it, we don't know. And the reason I'm skeptical is again, Shanika, what was the purple note that I had talked about?
The purple note basically like it implied that the carers, I believe, or the people knew who was taking the placebo or the comparator.
Yes. So the fact that the carers, the healthcare workers, knew who was getting what makes me think that there's a possibility that they took blood pressure more often for people on the actual medication because they were titrating, meaning picking a good nut like amount for the medication. So would ascertaining the outcome, aka ascertaining one's blood pressure, be different if you're taking it more often in one group and less often in another group?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. So I think the fact that the people that are giving the medications knowing who is getting what is messing this part up here. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes
Okay, but it's just so big. I put no information and let me get Abigail said, hey Vibha, you're not supposed to be altering these. Remember,
Oh,
Prisma, you can't.
oh, okay. I wasn't like altering my answers or anything. I was just like putting my reasoning. Just
Oh, well, okay. As long as you don't alter your answers,
yeah,
because
I wasn't.
if you start altering them based on the, well, actually, since I'm the PI, technically what I say, you know, would affect, but for good measure, we're just going to keep them the same. And again, like I said, our ultimate end analysis was the same, so it's really fine. Yeah, so if you want to put notes, go ahead. Just don't change your answers. Don't change them based on me because this is really you guys did really well, so I'm fine with what you put. Okay, so could the measurement of ascertainment of the outcome, aka the way that they determined who has severe blood pressure and who doesn't, have differed? And I'm thinking probably, but honestly, there's just like no information. They didn't say like who took it or what kind of cuff they used. It just there's just no information, so whatever. Now, let's see if Abigail said probably not. It seems to have been, well, you could also argue that because the cutoff is exactly the same. It's not like for one group they said, okay, severe hypertension for you guys is going to be 140/100, but for you guys, it's going to be 160/110. That would be a very definite, obvious yes, determining the outcome is different between groups. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right, so Ahmad, can you give an example of a wishy-washy maybe the way that they determine the blood pressure is different among the groups. And a very obvious yes, this is definitely a way that is different between the two groups of determining a high blood pressure.
Sorry, just asking me to like give you an example of a
Yeah, and you
way.
can
Okay.
repeat the examples that I just gave.
Um, maybe like the in the study, like they had like I think restrictions, so like 160 like blood pressure. It could be like different between the groups. Um,
Now,
me.
yeah, exactly. So if one group's cutoff for severe hypertension is 160 over 110, and another group's cutoff for severe hypertension is 140 over 100, that would be, yes, a definite difference in measuring the outcome. But what is a more vague, could be, might not be difference?
Um, I would say mm, it- maybe like maybe the heart. It was like measured. Like there's like how there's the squeeze pump heart blood pressure measuring, and then there's the electronic. Maybe there's like they
Yes.
for two, and then for the electronic there could be like throughout the Hebrew like some systematic error, something that's like,
Yes,
different.
exactly, exactly. That's what I said earlier is like, what if one group, the person taking it used an automatic blood pressure cuff, and then the other group, the person taking it used just the stethoscope? But we don't know because it doesn't say how it was taken. So we just don't know. You're
I
right.
had
You understand.
I had a question though. So
Yeah.
for this specific question, when they say like measurement of the outcome, are they like specifying like the way that the outcome was measured? So like using an electronic machine, or are they like talking more about like the guidelines per se? Like you just have to have the 160. Like
That is a great question. And I believe that Vibha and Abigail approached it like strictly 160 over 10, but I kind of interpret it as like, was the blood pressure cuff the right size and that sort of thing.
hmm
Vibha and Abigail, would you agree that I took those sort of things into account a bit more and you guys strictly adhered to the numbers?
Yeah.
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 And I think, I think that you guys did it fine. I was just being like extra nitpicky, thinking of like, well, yeah, I'm just so hung up on the fact that the carers knew who was getting what.
I,
But yeah, so it's fine to just put the cutoff. But if you think about it, even if the cutoff is the same for both groups, if you're taking the blood pressure for one group 10 times as often as you're taking the blood pressure for the other group, the blood pressure for the one you're taking 10 times as often, you're more likely to catch a fluke like increased blood pressure, right? So, but we don't know because it doesn't say. And I feel like I'm probably extrapolating way too much and thinking way too much into it. All right,
mm,
so 4.3, if the above was no or probably no, were the outcome assessors aware of the intervention received by the study participants? So what do you guys think? What did you guys put for that?
I put no information because I didn't see anything being talked about the outcome assessors. The only clue was mainly towards like the caretakers. So
All right, Lydia, what did you put?
I had also put no information, but now, like, thinking about the purple note, I think I would change my answer.
Yeah, that purple note changed so much of this bias assessment. I was like, what? How can they change the dosage based on side effects if they don't even know what they're giving to people? They can't. You're right. So if you just take it at face value, it doesn't say if it's blinded or not. Now, in real life, if I was to bet money and there's a paper and it does not mention whether it's blinded or not, I would go ahead and assume it's not blinded because if you do a study and you don't do blinding, which is a negative, right? That's not a good thing to not blind. You wouldn't say in the study, and we didn't blind anybody. You would merely just not mention it. However, that's not, you can't make assumptions like that. Like I'm saying, if I was betting and I had money on it and there was a study and it didn't mention blinding, I would bet money that they didn't blind people. But when you're doing a Rob 2 risk of bias assessment, you can't make that assumption. And so you can't assume that if they don't mention blinding, that they didn't blind. Okay. Does Jordan, can you write that down? Shanika, can you explain in plain English what I just said while I go grab some iced tea?
I believe she was talking about the purple note again. So,
No. I'm talking about if you read a study and nowhere in the study does it say that the participants or carers, healthcare workers were blinded, and I was betting money in Vegas, would I choose that the study had them blinded or not blinded?
you would choose that the study had not been blinded.
And why is that?
Um, because I feel like if it were blinded, then they would just state that, but because they didn't, then you would assume that they didn't.
Yes, if I had a study and I went to all the effort of blinding everybody, you better believe that I'm going to mention it in there. Okay. However, this is not Vegas and I'm not betting money. This is a Rob 2 assessment. So am I allowed to just make that assumption?
No.
No, I'm not. So you just have to put that there's not information. Okay. So for 4.1, Ahmad, what did you get?
For 4.1,
Oh, I'm sorry. What? Whew. Uh, oh, we were talking about blinding because we were talking about for 4.3, the people, the carers, did they were they aware of the intervention? Sorry, yes, 4.3. What did you put?
for 4.3, originally I said no information, but now that I think about it, I might go for the probably yes direction, because if the caretakers like knew about it, I feel like I'm trying to think a way of like the outcome assessors also. I don't know. I feel like for now I'm just gonna say no information because I feel like I need more information to be able to justify the fact that the outcome assessors knew somehow.
Yeah, so it would be no information, but that purple note where it says that they changed the medication dosage based on people's blood pressures, that says to me that the caregivers had to know who was taking what. Okay. All right. So then we have 4.4, which some of you would answer. Could the assessment of the outcome be influenced by knowledge of the intervention? And so, Vibha, you said probably not. And Abigail, you said probably not. And then let's see what I said. I said, yeah, probably because they knew who was getting what, and they probably took the blood pressures more often in order to titrate, meaning in order to pick the dosage of the drug. Taking a blood pressure more often would mean more chances to catch a high blood pressure. So that's why it's not like you guys are wrong. It's just that I made so many changes based on that one sentence stating that the carers were changing doses of the drug based on the blood pressure readings. See, it's you find like one little sentence in here and that can really change stuff a whole lot. So, what did you guys get for the risk of bias of judgment here? Don't just say mine because
Um, I initially got some concerns, but I think that would have to change.
solely based on that one sentence, the purple note, right?
Yeah.
And that's why I like to print these out and read them word for word, line by line. Okay. Any other questions about 4 before we go? Oh, so this is how, so I got to high risk by this. This is a screenshot from the slides. And so this is how you see how I got to high risk. Yes, no, maybe. See this? Okay.
Yes.
So table 2 and table 3 compare. You can actually take the raw data and do your own chi-square for just aspirin versus placebo instead of aspirin versus labetalol versus placebo. Guys, do we care about labetalol versus placebo?
No.
No.
No. All right. Now, whoop, domain 5. Take a few minutes. Try your luck with domain 5. This is about selection in the reported result. This is like, what was that fruit? It was one of the answers to one of the quiz questions for the pre-health internship after I did the lecture about bias. It was a fruit, a small red fruit.
Cherry picking.
Cherry picking.
Yeah,
Oh, cherry
cherry
picking. Yeah.
picking. Cherry picking. This is our cherry picking one. All right. Need to change your diaper, but she's sleeping so peacefully. All right, you guys work on domain 5.
Dr. Waggel, I just wanted to let you know that I have to leave the meeting now because I have a doctor's appointment at 12 o'clock.
I also have a doctor's appointment at 12 o'clock. Well, I'll let you go, but you'll have to watch the rest of this
Okay.
recorded. If it even records, who knows what it might explode. All
Okay.
right.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Dr. Waggle,
Mm-hmm.
I also have to go because I also have a dentist appointment at 12 today. So,
I see. Let's just try to get through number 5. Okay. I mean, you can go whenever, but we gotta. This is our 5th and final one. This is our cherry picking. Okay. So, what did you guys put for 5.1? Were the data that produced this result analyzed in accordance with a pre-specified analysis plan? So, we are also doing a study. What's our pre-specified analysis plan?
Is that like the Prisma document?
would it
Or
would it be like our search strategy? Like,
Prospero document.
Prospero?
Yes, the Prospero document. So before before you guys were born, I I went through and said exactly what we were going to do in this study, put it in Prospero, uploaded it to the internet for the whole world to see so that they could hold us accountable so that I'm not going to change what we're doing halfway through the study. Okay. So, you guys have all read, remember I said print out the Prospero document and put it under your pillow and sleep with it? You guys have all seen the Prospero document that holds us accountable. So, did this study, record number 9, say that they did a similar thing where they put what they were going to do, put it on the internet for everybody to see and be held accountable for sticking to it?
There isn't information about that. So I said no
No.
information.
No information. Now, again, getting back to me being a betting person, if they didn't say that they did that and I had to bet money, I would say that they probably didn't. But we're not allowed to be betting or gambling or making those kind of assumptions here on Rob 2. We have to say no information. Okay. But you better darn well believe if I do a study and I go and I pre-register it somewhere, I would mention that in the paper. But we have to say no information. Okay, so that's actually it. I mean, for this one. But obviously, domain 5 would be more involved if the record that you were working on did register it somewhere. Okay, so you'd have to do more. But in the end, it's some concerns here.
So essentially, if it was like if they did register it, it would just say it in the document it was registered.
I would hope so. Like when
Okay.
we write our paper, I'm going to put that we put it on Prospero.
Okay, got it.
All right. So now, do you guys remember the main thing, or not a main thing, but a big thing from the PowerPoints and the presentations? Any of those, so let's say all of these domains are like came out to be low. I mean, obviously that's not what happened here, but let's just say hypothetically all these domains came out to be low, but one of them came out to be some concerns. What would the overall bias rating be?
Some concerns.
Right, because you have to go with the highest one. So that being said, what was the ultimate end bias rating? And keeping in mind, we only did one outcome, severe hypertension, out of the 18. And so I have a feeling Abigail and Bipha, you guys got high risk, right?
For this one, we had some concerns.
Okay, so I think that the big game changer was that one sentence, the
Yeah.
purple note, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not faulting you for not noticing some microscopic, tiny little one sentence, but do you think that if you would have picked up on that one sentence that kind of shows here that the carriers knew exactly who was getting what, that would have changed your result?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, but honestly, you can just put some concerns. In the end, I didn't want to tell you guys this at the very beginning because I didn't want to ironically bias you. But this study had like, I didn't even do the Rob 2, and I was just like, what? For example, in the discussion, like, why did they start talking about it? Was like the results are presented here, period, repeat, period. 20,982 mothers. Where did Abigail, I had no idea where they get the 29,000 mothers from.
I have no clue either.
I was just reading this and I was like, these numbers don't make sense. Where is this coming from? What is going on? And so overall, I was concerned about this study from the very beginning. But I didn't tell you guys that because you can't let that influence your Rob 2 assessment, okay? So now everybody knows how to do Rob 2. Abigail, do you have a recommendation for a good practice example for everybody to do for next week? Like this week we did record 9. Do you have another randomized controlled trial that you think that would be good for people to practice for next week?
Um, the ones that we have done after record 9, the study had multiple reports.
So it was a big study and then a bunch of records underneath it that took pieces.
Yeah. Um,
That's way too confusing for a practice.
yeah, it is. The next one that we plan on working on is record 160, so maybe we can all work on that.
Okay. So just to be clear, like as far as your randomized control trial, everybody else can go, and may the odds be ever in your favor. And thank you for your participation. I hope you all had fun. Um, I'm just going to talk to Abigail for a minute. Bye.
Thank
I
you.
love you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Sayonara. Arrivederci. Um,
Wait,
so
so
it, oh, go ahead.
sorry, just one quick question. So should I write down that we're doing records 160 for next week, or are you just gonna make a post about that?
I'm gonna pick one because I
Okay.
want it to be one that's not so confusing that everybody gets discouraged and quits. Because surely they're not all going to be this complicated. I'm
Got it.
gonna pick one that would be a good practice, okay? And
Okay,
then I
perfect.
will announce it.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so Abigail, we have all right, how many random I know I have the information on my computer, but how many randomized controlled trials are there in total that you have to do Rob 2 for?
I think it's a little over 250 now.
So there's 250. And you did Rob 2 for how many of them?
24, I believe.
24. So we have like 225 more left.
Yes.
So everybody really needs to learn how to do this because it would be insane for, for you to have to do it. Is Vibha, do you think that she's doing an adequate job? I'm obviously not going to post. Wait, let me let me stop. I will edit this out. I'm not going to post it. But do you think, like, is she keeping up pace? Because I know she's still in high school, right?
Yeah.
Is she do like is she you're getting a whole bunch done? Is she doing the same amount and then you're meeting, or are you like way ahead?
I think we're doing the exact same amount.
And,
We work on the exact same records and then we meet to talk it out.
and do you think that she has a good understanding of how to do this?
I believe so, yeah.
No, that's fantastic. Okay. Um, all right. So I'm gonna continue trying to teach everybody how to do Rob 2 so that you don't have to do the remaining 225 by yourself, okay?
That's great.
Yeah, I bet you were worried there. All right. Well, excellent job. And then you've done more of these than I have. Did I say anything? For example, when I was like, for I guess 3.1, I was like, oh, they're going to be the same for all outcomes. And you're like, actually, Dr. Waggel, neonatal hypoglycemia, neonatal mortality. Any other errors that I made that you were like, what?
For domain 5, I don't think it's an error because the judgment will be the same. But looking at the slides for domain 5, it does say that we should still try to assess even if there is no pre-specified plan available.
Okay, so we should have done 5.2 and 5.3. Oh, I
Um,
did 5.2 and 5.3, but I just put that there isn't anything. What did you put for 5.2 and
for
5.3?
5.2, we said PN, and then 5.3 was NI.
Okay, and then what's the PN for 5.2 all about?
Mm, give me one second. I'm trying to locate it. We said that since the outcome was defined in the paper and there was no evidence that the result being assessed was likely to have been selected from multiple outcome measures.
So you're saying that there weren't a whole bunch of different things for them to choose from anyway?
Yeah, basically.
Okay. All right. Well, that makes sense. Well, this isn't easy stuff, but again, if it was easy, then everybody would know the truth about everything and we'd be in a lot better of a society. But
Yeah.
this is a very beneficial skill to have, I assure you. So we'll just keep on trucking. You keep on working on stuff, and I'll find hopefully a good example. So out of the 25 you did, none of them were like a better example than this one?
Um, Maybe they can do record 1515. That's the parent study for one of the trials.
Oh, because you were saying that all the ones you did were from I understand. Okay. I feel like a parent study has way too much information, will blow everybody's minds. I'll try to find one that's like isolated just to itself. All right. Well, thank you. Very impressed by this. This you have to have pretty high IQ to get this far. So good work.
Well, thank
Um,
you, Dr. Waggel.
yeah, keep up what you're doing and yeah, fantastic job. Yay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.